I'm going to finish lubricating, and then we can start whenever you're ready.
Yeah, lubricate however much you need.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Let's just all get nice and juicy. Just get
Stop
real,
it.
like,
ew.
slick, just slick.
Just reduce friction, It's,
that's all we're doing. Because we want to have a conversation that's free flowing, and you can't flow freely if there's too much friction.
Can you see how sweaty I am in my bangs?
No.
Yeah, it's gross.
I got nervous.
I could smell it.
Gross.
And I unplugged the Dyson, otherwise I would turn that on.
Oh,
It
it's
could cool
fine. I know
off,
the
but
sound. It's not. I'm not hot. I'm anxious.
It drums up the business,
I guess so.
All of this is staying in, and it can
Yeah,
only
of
get
course
better
it
than
is.
this from this point forward.
That is
There's
what
only
she
one
said.
way to go up.
It's true.
One way to go, and it's up.
Pretty sure that's what Zelda says when she wakes up.
Yeah. All of this is staying in.
How did you get here?
What's going on? She sleeps a lot in these games. Like,
Zelda's the boy.
She's a sleepy princess.
she's canonically not
Zelda's
available.
the boy.
And
I don't know about
it's
that.
confirmed.
Well, Zelda can be anything
Zelda's
she
an
or
idea.
they want to be.
Zelda's a state of mind.
Yeah.
It's a
Zelda's
sleepy state of mind.
Zelda's not a place, it's a people.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah,
sleepy people.
I'm just quoting
You're very-
Thor Ragnarok, the most important movie that ever existed. Ahoy, listeners!
Ahoy!
This is Debut Buddies. It's a fortnightly podcast about firsts. My name is Nate, and I'm one of the buddies.
And I'm Kelly. I'm an additional buddy.
And we have a special third buddy on this episode. You may know our guest as the past tense of the word draw. Or perhaps you know him from having met him in the past, if you have. If not, I don't know what to tell you. But what I can tell you is our guest is Drew Kebbel. Drew, welcome to the show.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I know him as all those things. Past tense of draw. I have met him previously. I can vouch for him.
Of all the intros I've had of myself, that was certainly the most recent. Thank you.
I appreciate that because, I had a very inspiring conversation about time last night over dinner. Apparently, we are getting so precise in time that by 2035, we won't have leap days at all.
Oh, okay.
This is the buzz.
How?
Because the calculations, the leap days are just to make up for calculation errors. So pretty
That's
soon,
true.
people born on leap days are either all going to disappear,
Rapture.
like the Rapture, exactly.
Yeah.
Or they're all going to become immortal because they don't age anymore.
Huh.
They were aging at 1/4 the rate that the rest of us do. They may never age again.
Good for them.
I know.
I'm still trying to figure out if that's good for them or bad for them. I don't know. It's like this calculation error eventually works out, but are they just getting hosed still?
Who is getting hosed is software developers, because it's us who are doing those calculations, and leap seconds, which are a thing, fuck up systems.
Oh, yeah.
We really put a lot on you all with the
We have to do a lot.
Y2K, and now
Yeah.
it's leap years. And
We should have let it crash and burn in Y2K. That's my bad. I wasn't in the field yet, but I do take responsibility.
Though you were in a field at the time, correct? It was a pasture, really.
It was, yeah. I was not put out to pasture, though, again, regrettably.
I wish we could all be put out to pasture, right? Just send me to
How
a
old
farm
was I?
upstate. I think I'd have more fun up there.
Nate, how old were you, Y2K?
Y2K, I would have been
Yeah.
19 years old.
God, you're so old, Nate.
I am. I know.
You walked into it. You shouldn't have. Don't answer me when I bring
I
your
shouldn't have even
age.
answered honestly. That's the problem. I should have gone with an exaggeratedly high number.
Yeah. I was
I failed
11.
us all. You were 11.
Yeah.
Aw, just like Stranger
Yeah.
Things.
I was just a little baby. Yep. Montauk Project and everything.
Yeah. So do a little mind trick on us while we've got you.
Oh,
since
no.
you were
I was
11.
conducting the Montauk Project. I wasn't one of the children.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was
Cool.
evil and nefarious, not a little kid. Do you know what we're
I
talking
have
about?
no idea what that is. No, I'm trying to piece it together, but we'll see.
You know Stranger Things.
Yes, familiar.
So that's based on a real, quote unquote, real project that happened in, I don't remember when, of government, like
60s, 70s.
probably that's when they were up to all this stuff.
Right
like
now,
experimenting.
secretly.
Yeah, right now. Experimenting on children, trying to get like magic powers. What did I feel like I was
seen the
explaining
show.
it well until I ended
yeah,
it with
no.
a
I've seen
the
question.
show.
You know, this is a great transition because you know what
Doesn't
else
surprise me.
needs to be pieced together? The Triforce. Because we're going to be talking about the first Legend of Zelda game on this episode. Can you believe it? Can you believe we're here?
As you listeners, you know, I don't play games, and yet here we are.
No, you're all
Doing
business.
another one.
All business all the time.
I'm all business all the time. Business in the front and the back.
That's right. It's something of a crew cut, I guess. Is that what that would be?
I guess that is, yeah.
Just high and tight
Yeah,
all around.
that's me.
Yeah. Yeah. So this video game that Kelly does not play and has never
Yeah.
played, but do you have some
And never
context
will.
around this? Do you have a connection to the Legend of Zelda?
I like the color green.
Great. Link wears a lot of green.
Yep.
It's also one of the colors available to an 8-bit system. So there's a lot of green in the game.
Yeah, it's pretty. I watched some speed runs that Drew so kindly sent me. One of the speed runners is a handsome fella,
Okay.
and
you got
Careful, he was
distracted,
taken.
and so you forgot to
what?
pay attention
I
to
know
the speed
it's
run.
fine. Well, I was distracted, but that's because I was on my phone.
So something that takes literally like 18 minutes, you're like, man, I can't, this can't hold my attention.
No, these were long videos. They
Oh,
were
okay.
Well, they were explaining.
they were explaining the speed run, so it took more time,
Interesting.
which was good for me, right? Because I don't know anything about it.
This is fair.
So it
yeah.
was like-
so now what do you think you know? What do you know? What do you feel like you know about this?
God, nothing. I was sort of just in it for the vibes, I guess.
It's a good start. That's
No,
where it starts.
no. We were talking about what I was most excited about, which were like weird hacks that players can do based on the programming of the game. So like if you're on this specific section of the screen, then you can like jump forward however many frames or whatever. Like I thought that stuff like that was really interesting. But that isn't specific to the like gameplay of Zelda. That's just a speedrun hack. So I don't really know much about, like, what is the Triforce? I don't know anything about the contents of the game. The way that you just looked at me, I disappointed Drew so terribly.
It's a philosophically relevant question. What is the Triforce? I mean,
Let's start with what is.
what it is many pieces that have to be reassembled, as our friend Nate pointed out earlier.
Okay, so is it like a...
It's
End
sort
of
of
sentence.
it's sort of a magical religious artifact of a sort, I think. It's a cultural artifact. It's an object
Okay.
that looks like it's triangular. It's usually
I've
missing
seen
its
it.
central triangle. Or
Yeah.
well, when you put all three together it is. But all three of them didn't exist in the first Zelda game. Only two did, I think. It was just power and wisdom were the two Triforces that were available. And I believe you're getting the wisdom one in the game.
That's a good question. I don't
Because
I
Ganon
don't even
has
think
the
they were
power
called
one.
anything in the
Yeah, they might not be. I
Did
know
they
that in
specify them at that level.
Zelda 2, they introduced Courage, the Triforce of Courage, which is the third Triforce of the Trinity.
Okay, so it's wisdom and courage, and what was the other?
Power.
Power.
Yeah.
Ooh,
so it's very
that
much
sounds about right.
It's very much the Catholic Trinity, right?
Oh, yeah.
Ghosts are
lot
wisdom.
Of Christian imagery in those early JRPGs.
Courage
for
is
sure.
anybody
Yeah.
who's gonna let themselves die for an idea, and power is being
Okay.
omniscient and omnipresent and omnipotent.
Damn. What's the timestamp here. How fast did we get to college essay thing?
Not fast enough, because we were supposed to do a speed run on college essay and we fucked it up. So we need to start all the way over. Rewind sounds.
Oh my gosh, can we get Michael J. O'Connor to do our theme song in 8-bit style?
Oh my
for this
God, I would
episode?
love to.
That feels like a big ask.
I'll see. He might have like a MIDI conversion thing that he can do too.
Oh, I might have that.
Or you might.
Yeah.
I certainly might as well. Look, this sounds like a project for all of us.
We can all do homework, Drew.
No thanks.
Oh, great.
No, I appreciate being upfront about things. Yeah. Way better than someone who's like, yeah, that kind of sounds cool. And then 3 weeks later, you don't reply to
Nothing.
my texts about the MIDI version of the theme song that you seemed vaguely interested in doing. So Kelly, you watched these speed runs. You were kind of checked out. Was there any part of it that made you think like, that game looks like it might be kind of fun to play?
No. There was a lot of it that made me go, I sort of felt like how I feel when I'm watching soccer, which is like, there's a lot of movement on the screen and I don't know where to look.
Okay, great. Drew, let's talk about your relationship to The Legend of Zelda, the OG. What's your background with this?
Let's see. I was maybe 5 years old when that game came out, and it just kicked my butt, and I loved it. And while I never myself got a chance to beat it, it just hours playing with the friends, trying to figure out the puzzles. One buddy had the Nintendo Power subscription that would tell you where you have to bomb everything and where you have to burn all the bushes. And
Wait, what is this Power subscription?
Nintendo Power.
Oh,
The excellent video
this
game
is a different
magazine.
console.
So it was Nintendo's way of
a magazine.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
their way of getting you to spend some money to
Sure.
figure out how to beat these games.
Okay.
They're intentionally cryptic, and especially for children, it helps
Yeah.
if you get the subscription or you have a buddy who has a subscription, and then
Perfect.
you could check those out. And then, of
Okay.
course, on the playground, you're playing with your buddies, and they tell you the secrets they just read about or uncovered,
Nice.
and helps you progress in the game as well. So.
Oh, I love that. That's so wholesome.
It's pretty, yeah, that's exactly it. It's just like the social activity of the grade school play yard,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a subscription to Nintendo Power for like 3 years, I think, when I was a kid, because it was like they did this with all the games that came out for Nintendo. It was like, here's all of the maps, and here's inside tips and tricks, and like here's the secret code to get 30 lives in Contra, all these kinds of things.
Exactly.
The fun fact that I learned while researching this game is that Nintendo Power exists entirely because The Legend of Zelda existed. So because The Legend of Zelda was so inscrutable to play, which it ultimately is, if you don't know where to go and what to do, it is baffling. And it continues to baffle me to this day. I promised myself when I played it these last couple of weeks that I would not cheat by looking anything up. I have not been able to succeed in advancing the game much at all. Like, I have done very
It's brutal.
little. I got the boomerang. I was able to do that. And I died dozens of times in one dungeon. And then I wandered around looking for the easier dungeon and still have not found it. And I'm talking like probably 6 hours of gameplay that I've spent.
Well, and that's a big part of it. It's an open world. There's no forcing mechanism to make you go through the dungeons in any linear order from easiest to hardest. So you could stumble onto one of the very difficult dungeons early on and just get obliterated. And good luck, right? You think that's the game? You're in for a rough time.
Yeah, the game
okay.
doesn't, there's nothing that pops up to say like, hey, you probably should try going this way instead. There's no arrow guidance. There's no tutorial. There's no anything. Like, you walk, if you don't know to do it, you could avoid going into the initial cave to begin with, never pick up the sword, and walk around constantly dying with no way to fight.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
That's how they made games back then. It was good luck. And that's why he
So-
says it's dangerous to go alone, take this, right? And
it is
the whole
dangerous
point
to
of
go
that
alone.
starting screen is to throw you into this open world and, there looks like there's something I could walk into. Good luck. Right? You should walk in there, but you can just explore and get wrecked.
Now, there is a map. Does that indicate to you where you need to go? Like, are there any symbols or anything even on the map that's like
So we talk about the map that comes with the game or the little map in the game itself?
in the game itself?
Yeah, so that one is just kind of like a location marker. It's not
Okay,
really
there's no,
a
like,
proper map. But
Spooky stuff here.
No, but the map that comes with the game, quite useful to get started. It's definitely not all-inclusive on purpose.
Okay. Yeah, that makes
so
sense.
they get you enough to get started. But okay, so when I'm a kid in the 80s, we're not using that map. We're not opening up the guide. We're just popping in the controller and good
free
luck.
balling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're just trying to figure out, well, one, like you're used to games like Super Mario Brothers or something else that Nintendo has put out at this point, where it is linear and it pretty much instructs you how to play it by playing it. This game doesn't tell you anything other than here's a sword and go any direction you want. Half of the enemies you can actually fight, half of them will overwhelm you almost immediately, and you will die. I have a Nintendo Classic. So they put out a few years ago, they put out these miniature versions of the Nintendo and Super Nintendo that had like 40 games on them each. And
that's fun.
this version, it is gorgeous. I forgot how good this looks. Like the game is pixel perfect. It's smoothed nicely, so it really feels good to play. The controller itself, being a regular Nintendo controller, is not on my 44-year-old, actually 150-year-old hands. Like it's crippling to try to use this thing because it's
Why?
not ergonomic.
These are just those old like flat ones.
Yeah, it's a rectangle.
Okay.
It's a rectangle with a cross and 2 buttons, well, 4 buttons, and you're trying to like move kind of quickly to interact with these enemies.
Yeah.
And doing that, one, the game doesn't really allow for a lot of fast motion anyway, but two, it's just unwieldy to try to make quick moves, to strafe, to do all these things. So
To strafe? What that word mean?
just like moving laterally while facing the same direction.
Oh, okay.
It's very critical in games where you have to aim at targets that are also trying to hit you.
Okay.
It's probably the point at which I had to stop playing any kind of game because all my friends could do that and I can't. And as Dave was saying, there's 4 buttons, the A, B selects. That's more than sufficient for me to be confused and couldn't really get much past anything after that. So I'm grateful there's actually no strafing required in Zelda. It's a very rigorous grid. You know, it's like 8 or 16 kind of subpixel things, and you can only be on certain parts of that. So
they were.
You
one
don't
of
have
the
to
videos
really
you
aim
sent
all that well.
Was like describing how you could move, and I didn't fully understand. I guess because I haven't played it, so I was like, you can only go. So there's no diagonal movement. You have to go left and then forward or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the hitboxes on the enemies and the objects are sort of odd. So sometimes, like, because Link will be able to sort of, when he's at full health and he has his sword, he can shoot a projectile version of the sword that's kind of a magical thing that goes out a certain distance in front of him. It doesn't always hit something, even if it crosses the pixels of the object it's hitting. You have to sort of hit the center of it. So a lot of it becomes lining yourself up properly and hitting your mark. And that's an old video game problem that sort of pervades the arcades and everything.
But that works in your favor too, right? Like, I think I saw that in one of the speed runs. Like, you can sort of walk through projectiles fired at you, so long as it's just like on your corner.
All about where that hitbox is.
Yeah. As long as you miss that line, wherever that is. Yeah. So to go back to the Nintendo Power thing, in 1988. So this game comes out in 1986. I'll rewind to talk about that briefly, but we'll go here because we already sort of started. In 88, Legend of Zelda has sold 2 million copies in the United States, which is a huge amount for Nintendo, when Nintendo is basically like, Nintendo began as a playing card company. Like in the 20s or 30s. It's a very old company. They made playing cards. Then they made like board games and things. And they come out with this basically they have the Famicom system, which is the Japanese version of the Nintendo that uses floppy disks basically to play these games. And then the Nintendo comes out and they're like, okay, cartridge based, because I assume it was like making it more of a toy-like thing for Americans because computers weren't sexy in the 80s. They were nerdy. So the idea of like a family fun computer didn't sound good to Americans. So they were like, well, here, it's an entertainment system.
Oh, just a quick rebrand to get the jocks on board.
That's right. We got to get those jocks playing these games. So Nintendo sells 2 million copies of this game, and they have such a fan base that they're trying to figure out a way to engage them. So they start doing this thing called the Fun Club, which is something that only people people who've bought Legend of Zelda will get like a 3x5 card that they can fill out to join the Fun Club, and they get mailed. I love
this name, by the way.
Yeah, it's a fun club.
The Fun Club. It's a club for fun.
Yeah, I mean, it could basically just be the Debut Buddies Fun Club. I think we can take it there.
Hell yeah!
They abandoned that.
You can't trademark fun.
You can't, nor club.
There's probably literally a law that you can't trademark just the word club.
Yeah, club sandwiches, those exist. I've never seen a trademarked sandwich.
Yet.
Monte Cristo?
It's true. You can count on that one.
The Cuban? I don't know. Are these trademarked?
So they put out this newsletter. The Fun Club newsletter starts out as 4 pages long. It becomes 8 pages within like 6 months, and then eventually it's 32 pages long. And they just start sending out copies of this free of charge.
Sorry, what was the growth there? 8, 16, 32?
4,
Are we
8,
doing
32.
4, 8, 32. Okay, never mind.
So they start sending these out, and the club just keeps getting bigger. More and more people are enrolling in this. They're sending out little tips and tricks and things for the games in this newsletter. Everybody loves it. So Nintendo's like, hey, you know what we could do? What if we made a magazine that does the same thing? And then anybody can do it, not just Fun Club members. So they invent Nintendo Power, and they start putting that out in early 88. Because there were like 1 million Fun Club members at that point. So they're like, we have a subscriber base.
Yeah, we got the juice.
Yeah.
We can monetize.
And yeah, and Nintendo Power was like a fundamental aspect of the Nintendo era video game experience, the 80s, where it was just like, it teased you about games that were coming out. It had these sort of faux journalistic / advertainment sort of things that were like, this game's coming, and oh my God, it's so amazing, whatever, right? It was a great time.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Was
the
there
original stealth hype.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there like I'm imagining like fanfic level like origin stories for characters. Is there any of that?
I would have to go back and reread because
Okay.
childhood Drew would not have had that perspective to
Sure.
think about. But I'm sure it's in there if you can find us an old copy, Nate.
I believe that a lot of the early games, because it came with just like a little booklet, there wasn't backstory in there, and I do remember
Yeah.
Nintendo Power filling some of that in. Whether it
Hell
counts
yeah.
as fanfic or not, it was like, we need to explain a little bit more about the Belmont family from Castlevania so that kids get more amped about playing this game. Because we're going to make a sequel, right? And if you know, like, oh, Simon's the first guy, and then it's, whoever the second one is, I don't know those games that well. But, just advancing all of these things. The game itself comes out in 1986. It is the first game in the series. And we've kind of talked about the control. It was designed by Shigeru Miyamoto and Takashi Tezuka, and came out on the Famicom. Then it was ported to the Nintendo Entertainment System in 87. And it was the first time also that any video game for home entertainment included a internal battery for saving data.
That's right.
Major breakthrough.
That was a huge thing, and that's actually
Yeah.
a big differentiator between the Famicom and the cartridge-based. Was I think cartridge would enable that save feature.
That's right.
And
Yeah, there's no
us
way a
lazy
floppy
Americans
could.
did not want to write down passcodes and keep typing them in all the time. So
Still don't.
just save states. And
Well, you literally brought up your phone to send my computer this Wi-Fi password. We still are not trying to write anything down. We want the
Definitely not.
computers to do it.
yeah, exactly. That's what we have them for.
Why wouldn't we? This game has been ported to the GameCube, the Game Boy Advance, the Wii, the Nintendo 3DS, and the Wii U. It is accessible on the Switch through Nintendo's like online services. It has sold 6.5 million copies in its life.
Wow, and 2 million of those were
in
the
the
first
first
2
year.
years.
Wild, right?
Good Lord.
And back then, there were only, like 10 million people or something? So
Yes.
it was like 20% of the whole population had this. I'm approximating. I
And the
forget
game
what
cost
inflation-
I don't know.
$15,000. So it was like literally
For 80s money.
The population dropped off by about 25% because several people starved as a consequence
Yeah.
of others buying this game.
It was the start of the decline, absolutely. Well worth it, by the way.
A small price to pay.
There's so many other Zelda games that came out, like Zelda 2 also came out. I played some of that just to get a flavor for it. It was pretty panned critically compared to the first game, but I was really enjoying it actually because there are more RPG elements. You go into town, you talk to people. They tell you very specific tips about things to do, which makes the game a little easier to do. But it also makes Link side-scrolling instead of the top-down version that we see in the original game.
Oh.
And the combat is much more challenging in
Okay.
the second Zelda. You
Yeah.
know, I think a lot of what I've heard of, big fans, they look retrospectively at the history, and they often rate the second Zelda lowest because of the difficulty, but those who really enjoy it and understand the mechanics actually find it one of the best games in the series. So,
Interesting.
to each their own, but yeah, you can't go wrong.
Where do you fall on it? Do you really like it, or?
I love watching the
Okay.
really great players play it. There's other speedruns for it, and it's
Yeah.
just brilliant. There's glitched versions that aren't as exciting. It's a little too much, but the actual just like straight up, let's beat Zelda 2 as fast as we can.
Yeah.
It's impressive. And
Interesting.
It makes me appreciate it more and more. That's another game I've never beaten. It's brutal as a kid.
Oh yeah, yeah. I have beat neither of these games, so I played them.
Same. Happy to admit.
Yeah. I
Very
got
challenging.
a Nintendo. I'm gonna say I got a Nintendo in like '88 or '89 when this was the one massive surprise gift of my childhood that was left such an impression that I still remember it to this day. Like
Aw.
I was just home from school or it was a weekend. I don't remember the exacts of that. But my dad came home and was like, "Oh, hey, can you help me get stuff out of the truck?" And I go down to the truck, and in the back seat of the truck there is this Nintendo. And it was
I
like,
love that.
holy shit, I lost my mind. We hooked the Nintendo up. My parents had like a little TV, like we're talking
Like
probably,
a 13-inch.
yeah, like a 13
Yeah.
inch TV that was in a shelf in their closet in their bedroom up high.
Yeah.
And they're like, we'll hook it up here because we don't want it on the living room TV. We're not doing that out there. So from that point on, I was just constantly like sitting at the foot of their waterbed, like playing Mario, playing Zelda,
God,
like
this
just all
was
this
the
stuff.
80s.
Oh my God. My buddy DJ's parents had the waterbed. We would play in front of the waterbed
yeah, I
for the
mean, my-
Nintendo.
my
Turn it to channel
babysitter-
3. Don't get on the waterbed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And yeah, this like I never beat this game. I never beat the first Legend of Zelda. I never beat Zelda 2. I always liked to try to play Zelda 2 because I was enamored by the graphic upgrade. I love the side scrolling. I love the fact that you can duck and you can jump. There's a lot of these little added things.
Is there strafing in this one?
No strafing. There isn't any dimension
There's
for
down
strafing.
stabbing while you're jumping, which is
Whoa.
definitely overpowered, but
Whoa.
no strafing at this level yet.
Got it.
No.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just a huge impression because these are very like the earliest sort of notion I would have had to the idea of what a role-playing game was, let alone to engaging with fantasy in any sort of way beyond like a movie. And I'm trying to think of like what I would have seen as a kid that was similar. And it's sort of like Willow or Dark Crystal
Willow.
or something. But like the Lord of the Rings movies don't exist at this point. There's a very limited amount of fantasy that's decent and believable and is sort of self-contained and polished as this game was.
Never-ending story, maybe?
Neverending Story would have been a huge
Around
one.
that time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So how many Zelda games are there?
There are, I believe, like 30 something.
Good Lord.
Yeah. The most recent game that came out in 2024, which we could talk about another time, is the first one where you play as Zelda.
Oh, I remember hearing about this. And am I remembering that dumb dudes were like, this is ruining my childhood?
Yeah, yeah. Well, dumb dudes say that when literally anything
About
happens.
everything.
And
Anytime there's
especially
a
if a
lady.
woman is involved.
Yep.
The only like the criticism I've heard of this game is mostly that like Zelda's skill set is summoning other creatures to do things. It's kind of more of a puzzle game.
Oh.
And so I've heard arguments on both sides that one, the mechanic isn't that fun because you kind of have to search through like a growing list of these options and summon something, and some of them are just not useful and some of them are very
So she
useful.
just has like a bunch of Pokemon?
Yeah, yeah. So
Got it.
there's
Okay.
that beef. And the other side of it being that like, well, this isn't very feminist at all if the whole thing is like, well, she doesn't actually do anything.
Yeah. She's just
she's only
summoning.
capable of micromanaging or managing these other things. I haven't played it myself. I will probably check it out if ever it becomes reduced in price, but knowing Nintendo, it will never be reduced in price. They never discount their games. You probably could buy Legend of Zelda Original now in the eStore. It would still be like $60 because that's just what
Good
Nintendo
Lord.
does.
Yeah, I guess people are still buying it.
Yeah,
It's worth it.
Nintendo's unique in that they don't ever reduce their prices on literally anything. Like the only games that get cheaper are games where they collaborate with another developer. So if like
Oh.
if they do something with Square or they do something with like Capcom or whatever, those games might drop to $30, but any Nintendo alone game never gets cheaper, even if it's been out for 10 years, 20 years. It's amazing.
36 years,
Yeah.
38 years. I couldn't do the math. I did math for me, not for Zelda.
But yeah, I'll list the games. I'll list all the titles of the games right now because it's going to be riveting, and you can keep count because I didn't count these.
Oh God. Okay.
First, The Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
Then The Adventure of Link. Then A Link to the Past. That's actually my personal all-time favorite. Then Link's
Okay.
Awakening. Then Ocarina of Time, which is the one that almost everybody loves the most.
Yeah.
Majora's Mask. Oracle of Seasons and Ages. Four Swords. The Wind Waker. That's when they changed the animation style completely, and people hated it at the time, but they love it now. Four Swords Adventures. The Minish Cap. Twilight Princess. Phantom Hourglass. Spirit Tracks. Skyward Sword. A Link Between Worlds. Triforce Heroes. Breath of the Wild. That's the first one that came out on the Switch.
Drew and I have
Kelsey's a
different
big
counts,
fan.
by the way.
Tears of the Kingdom. And then Echoes of Wisdom.
20.
I got 19 because I wasn't sure about one of those 7 years ago ones, whether it was one or two.
It was two. The Minish Cap and Four Sword Adventures was two different things.
Okay,
but I
then I
read
think
them
20
very
is
close
correct.
together.
20.
So yeah,
It's all good. That's why
20. There you go.
I've got a trained ear for Nate's cadence,
Appreciate it.
so I could do it.
And I don't know if that 20 includes the really horrible, like, it was 3DO or one of those companies put out these weird, mostly animated games. It was like you were watching a cartoon.
Oh,
But the-
like no
the voiceover
gameplay.
was
It's all like cut
awful.
story.
Yeah, you can look them
Yeah.
up. It's like, because Link is just like, oh, gee golly, princess. Like, just that kind of shit. It's really annoying. Very popular on the internet. People are probably mad right now that I don't know what it is because it's very memed.
Well, listeners, write in debutbuddies@gmail.com.
That's right.
Yell at Nate.
That's right. Yell at me. Do it.
But just look at what that first Zelda kicked off. I mean, what
Yeah.
other, is there any other franchise like that?
Hellraiser.
As video games?
No, as movies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Hellraiser. Halloween did some work.
I mean, I'm happy to
Yeah.
expand the scope to that, but like,
there legitimately are like 30 Hellraisers.
I'm not doubting you. I was just wondering
Yeah.
about the video game side
well,
of things.
I don't know
Yeah.
games.
I mean, the
I don't know games.
Mario Brothers
stuff.
games are that big in scope. That's
Yeah,
that's another
definitely.
Nintendo property. There's been quite a few sort of.
I mean, the Pokemon
But as far as like RPG,
games,
I mean,
right?
like,
Yeah.
how far did Final Fantasy get?
Final
get to
Fantasy is
20.
probably around 20
11?
games now.
Yeah, it's probably
Oh.
close, right? But like, it's on that order, right? And
Yeah.
so it's like this was starting that realm of
Yeah.
exploration and gameplay that just took off out of nowhere.
You said realm, and it made me wonder, what's the name of the land where Zelda
Hyrule.
takes place?
It's called
Hyrule. I
Hyrule.
knew this.
Yeah.
That was in my brain.
Yeah. The
Okay,
Link,
so
Link
Nate-
is the hero of Hyrule when he
Link-
saves Zelda,
Link's fashion sense is impeccable.
especially in the second one. He's shows a lot of leg.
Ooh,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
love a short
Yeah,
inseam.
the sprite is special, but
Yeah.
we're back to the original though. Yeah,
yeah, he's got a
Okay,
tunic
so
on
Nate-
that's probably mid thigh,
Just
and he's
a
got some
tunic.
brown boots, and he's doffed his green sleeping cap.
he's got his little cap.
I love his little cap.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so Nate, you said
Just
the
for
third
flair,
one.
provides no protection, by the way.
No,
Strictly
but
for flair.
warmth.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah. And
You said the third one is your favorite, Nate.
yes, that's the Super Nintendo one. That's the only one that I've beaten
Okay.
because I got way into it. It's basically it returns to this top-down look, although it's kind of isometric, so you're sort of three-quarter overhead.
Using those extra bits
Yeah,
on the
we got
SNES.
all these bits.
Yeah.
It's like this
What
podcast.
does isometric mean? Bits and skits, am I right?
That's
Goofs
right.
and spoofs.
So
Isometric, like you can look down from an angle, not just straight from the
Oh,
top.
I see.
yeah,
I
yeah.
see.
So you
So
get
we're talking 45, not 90.
correct.
Between 0 and 90.
Yeah, somewhere in there. But it was just it took everything that the first game does well.
Wait, so can you shift? Can you change the perspective, or is it just always?
it's
at
just
one-
always that way. Yeah.
I think N64 would bring that mechanic out.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Once N64 hits, we start having because I think Ocarina of Time is the first 3D game where you're actually running
Does that one
around.
have the horse in it?
Yes, I believe so.
I forget.
Do you like how confidently I said that? I don't know.
That was
Why
great.
would I know?
Yeah, it's very
There's one
believable.
with a horse. I
One
love
of them
that
has
part,
a
but-
horse.
It might have been Majora's Mask that had a horse first. I honestly I never owned a Nintendo 64, so I didn't play any of that era. I didn't have a GameCube. I have a huge gap. My A Link to the Past playthrough was amazing because it is a sprawling game. You have to travel through kind of the regular world you're used to. You get sent to this sort of starry underworld where you also have to complete like a mini set of collection quests, and then you fight Ganon. It's really neat, but it's also full of fun little jokes. Like there are chickens that are around, and I'm sure you may have seen this on the internet. I'm sure listeners
I've seen
have,
chickens.
but
Yeah.
you're familiar with chickens as a concept.
Yeah, I'm familiar with.
We'll have to come
them.
back to that. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So basically,
That
think
wasn't in my
about
prep notes.
Yeah, sorry, I should have warned you. There would be chickens.
the chicken thing in that game is that you will find these chickens like in random farm spaces in the game, and you can attack them. You can't harm them, but if you attack them for long enough, a whole swarm it will trigger this event where hundreds of chickens will come flying onto the screen and peck you and can kill you fairly quickly.
Oh my god.
It also does the thing where
You're gonna find out.
It overclocks the system, so you really get that like slow down lag.
big lag.
thing.
Oh, no.
There's just so many chickens on the screen. It's
Chicken
it's
lag.
phenomenal. Yeah, you heard of chicken leg. How about chicken lag?
Now, when I said
Fog of
earlier,
war,
I've heard of chickens or I've seen chickens, I meant I've seen chickens and Zelda, not the concept of chickens. Now, can you get one to like follow you around, or can you carry one?
You can.
I
You
feel
can
like
pick-
I've seen him like
You
just
can pick
vibing
chickens
with
up,
a chicken.
and that game also allowed you to lift things, which is something
Yeah.
you cannot do in the first two games. And it added a bunch of other mechanics. There's like a grappling hook that you can use to bridge gaps. They added a lot of fun things. But this game is, like the original, is one of the first to have a bunch of utility items that you unlocked that expanded the game, because you would do something initially and you would get to a dead end. But once you found bombs, you could realize like, oh, I can create a door here by bombing this wall. Or you would get the boomerang and you'd be able to hit a switch that was across a chasm and it would your boomerang comes back to you. Or a bow and arrow, the candle being a very important item in this game because a bunch of sections have like conspicuous puzzly copses of trees. And if you set fire to the trees, it'll reveal a staircase that goes down into a dungeon or to a secret room.
How would you ever know to do that?
That's why you buy
Nintendo
Nintendo
Power.
Power.
Well, yeah. Ah.
That's it.
But like who? So
You just needed one friend with it.
So it's like developers who are putting these notes into Nintendo Power. It's like it's not a crowdsourced thing. It's published by the creators.
Interesting question about who writes the copy.
Yeah, I mean,
for that.
Nintendo
I
was
assume
publishing
it's
the magazine, so it was just them being like, "Hey, this is inscrutable. Have a
Did
little
you know
script."
you could do this?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your favorite one, Drew?
Favorite one? What?
Game, Zelda game.
Well, I've only played the first two myself. I may have
okay.
mentioned I lose ability to maintain more than A and B buttons.
Yeah, okay.
By the time Super Nintendo came out, that was pushing the limit already.
Got it.
I would watch my friends play the other games. I will say I have a dear friend who got me the Switch version of a Zelda game. And
Breath of the Wild, probably,
maybe it's that one.
or
And you
the
were
newer
mentioning-
one. Yeah,
I forget. I'm so
Breath
bad
of the
with-
Wild was a couple years ago, and
So
people
bad with
lost
names.
their
yeah.
minds.
Breath of the
over
Wild was
it. People
2017,
loved it.
huge deal, and then Tears of the Kingdom came out 2 years ago.
It might be Tears of the
that's what I was
Kingdom.
thinking
That
of.
sounds familiar. And I think Nate was describing earlier where you can grab things on hooks and pull things. It's all those mechanics, and it's very complicated. They do a great job going through a tutorial.
Yeah.
But teach this old dog some new tricks, and it's a tough one. But the visuals are just beautiful. It's this fantasy world.
Yeah.
It's incredible to see how far game design has come. But yeah, I'm an 8-bit. Easy nerd at heart, so
Sure.
it's just the original and then the second one.
You're like my favorite game ever, Pong.
That's a good one too. I'm thinking back to not mad about Pong, but in the original too. I mean, it's the physical cartridge is gold, which is it's a
Yes.
piece of flair in its own right.
That's fun.
And I still have 2 copies that probably no longer work from Video Game Exchange. You may remember these. You go and buy crappy used videos or CDs or
DVDs.
tapes.
Yeah.
Before DVDs, but
Well,
that kind of thing. And so I have a couple of the original cartridges.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were super cool because this and Zelda 2 were the only 2 games that ever came out that way. They didn't continue doing it in the future. It's not like the Nintendo 64 games were on gold cartridges. It's not like the Wii games or any of the other versions or the Switch games come with like some sort of gold flair. It was just
Yeah.
this unique thing that grounded them as something really special.
They didn't want it to lose the luster.
Huh.
See, you're like me with this stuff. This is great.
That, listeners, is why I was like, I got to get Drew on this podcast.
Hell yeah.
I heard the Monte Cristo reference earlier, by the way. I just couldn't come up with anything. But yeah, you can count on me. That's for sure.
Yeah,
there you
thank
go.
Thank you. Yeah.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah, we did. We did.
God, you're going to be so good at I see what you did there. And I'm going to be like, wah, wah.
It's going to be great. I'm really proud of this one. The cool thing about Tears of the Kingdom, too, is that it added, like, crafting was incorporated into Breath of the Wild, which is kind of
What do you mean?
a game mechanic where you collect objects from the world and then you can make things, right?
And
like
then you knit?
You can make food, you can make weapons, you can make arrows, things like that.
Oh, cool.
What they added, a lot of people don't like crafting because it also requires you to sit and do like task labor for a while, right? Or you have to grind to get resources. But in Tears of the Kingdom, they up-leveled that crafting thing to where people were building these just incredible contraptions that you could construct using like, oh, I can make this fire-powered engine thing. I can build a wing. Like people are building airplanes.
Yeah,
and all
I was
kinds
going to
of
say.
wild stuff. Yeah.
They're like Minecrafting it.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
Building their own adventures. I love that.
Yeah.
I saw people building flying machines, which I believe are called airplanes.
I mean, unless it's a helicopter.
Ornithopters. I don't know. I mean, there's other.
A balloon, a dirigible.
People like loved that game. Okay, am I remembering this correctly? That it took like years and years and years to come out, and then it was flawless, like as opposed to a bunch of games that come out really rapidly. Like, what was the game that everybody was really excited about years ago that sucked ass when it was released so bad that they redeveloped it?
Yeah, well, Cyberpunk 2077 was a big one.
That's the one I was thinking.
It was highly
of.
anticipated.
Yeah.
I pre-ordered it. It came out, and they were basically like, "Hey, don't play this if you
This
don't
is
have
unusable."
You had to have a PlayStation 4 Pro. They were like,
Oh,
"Don't play
great.
it on a regular PlayStation because it might brick the system. Like it's just the code is bad." And so I didn't touch it for years, and then it is
Yeah,
one
it
of my
took
favorite games of
forever.
all time since they fixed it. This is kind of the same thing with, at time of recording, listener, Grand Theft Auto 6 was just recently delayed again. Grand Theft Auto 5 came out like 10 years ago, I'm going to say, roughly.
Yeah.
And Rockstar's
Jeez,
been
yeah.
milking it for all they can, which good on them. If everybody wants to keep buying it and keep playing it, wonderful. GTA 6 was supposed to come out this year, and they put out a notice just recently saying like, hey, we're really sorry, but we want to give you a perfect game.
What's the there's a game that they've been talking about a sequel for like 30 years or something. Duke Nukem, maybe?
Oh yeah. Duke
And,
Nukem
like,
is
it's a
a
meme.
notorious
Like, they're
disaster.
I would
making
play a Duke
another one.
Nukem too. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I've been out of gum for a long time.
You what? Sorry?
It's a Duke Nukem line.
Yeah.
Oh.
Duke
Here to
Nukem.
kick ass and chew gum, and I'm all out of gum.
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Duke
yes.
Nukem rips off lines from John Carpenter movies. So that line is from They Live. Roddy
I did
Piper.
not know that.
Rowdy Piper.
We'll be talking about Roddy Piper later in the episode, listeners.
Happy to
Uh,
talk
Oh,
about
good.
Roddy. Absolutely.
but
Piper's Pit.
In They Live, he says, I'm here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum. Duke Nukem also says that. And yeah, Duke Nukem 3D came out, and then there was supposed to be a sequel, I think Duke Nukem Forever. And I think that came out in
Yeah.
like 2016, and
Okay,
it
then
was
this isn't the one I'm thinking of.
disastrously bad.
More like Duke Nukem for sometimes,
Yeah.
but not now.
not now. Really not ever.
It was
good.
cute they tried, but yeah, that's
Doom, maybe? Was there a game called
that one's had a
Doom?
few
They've
iterations.
made
absolutely.
sequels to Dune, but they've
Darn
been
it.
successful.
I don't know what I'm thinking of. But
Half-Life
whatever,
is a
it doesn't
game
matter.
that people have wanted a sequel to that hasn't come out
No,
ever.
older than that. I guess it doesn't matter. Maybe it wasn't well known. Maybe I thought that this was like a well known meme, and it was just like my friends in college.
When you figure it out, you have to tell us, because now I'm just like I'm on pins and
Yeah,
needles here.
I'll send some text messages.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
And then we'll air those text messages live on the show.
Yeah, I'll send screenshots. We can put them on the Twitter. I'm the blue sky.
Yes. Yeah, the blue sky. The other thing doesn't exist anymore. It never existed.
Nope.
What word even was that?
I stuttered. I was nothing. I was thinking about chickens and the noises that birds make.
It's true. Yeah, they do. They chirp and they do other things. We don't have to say it again.
Nope.
There's a lot of love for like Ocarina of Time because, as the name would imply, it creates a mechanic whereby you actually go back and forth in time affecting the game. So you have an ocarina, it allows you play it, and depending on what you play on the controller, you go to different time periods, and you are able to alter the future and the past through doing that. It was a huge landmark thing. Majora's Mask is similar, but everybody, I think, felt like it was too close to Ocarina of Time because it was the next 64 game. And then Wind Waker was the one where they went full, like, childlike Link, cel-shaded. And everybody kind of reacted weird because everybody kind of wants to embody a beef boy, I guess. And then they were like, oh, he's a little dude. He's got a big head.
He's a little guy.
People just complain about any change, though, right? It's like, no matter what. Oh, it's too much of the same. It's not enough of the same. Too much of a departure. And then, then we end up loving it. So
people just want to play the one game in their hearts. Yeah. They just want to play their one game forever, and they want it to be new, but exactly the same.
Good luck with that.
I know, you can't.
Yeah, I think we should just fundamentally agree to not react to things when they first happen and to wait a very long time and then think about them. Because we don't know what we think of it, right? I
think thinking about it is going to be a hard sell for a lot of people.
Well, sure. I mean, but not to our listeners on this show who are inarguably
No, we think critically.
Upper echelon. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's all alphas that listen to this show.
The dubs.
I don't want to be an alpha. That sounds way too hard.
No, I'm a cuck.
Sigma cuck?
I was just thinking I was a gamma, but sure, if you want to.
Nate's a Chad.
I'm a Chad. I'm such a Chad, yeah.
You're such a Chad.
Yeah.
I could tell it's the pastel polo pop collar.
Right. Yeah. And the fact that there are 4 of them.
In case our listeners can't see him, that's exactly what he looks like.
Yeah. I'm wearing shutter shades for some reason inside. I'm also doing cocaine the whole episode, so just get ready.
Yeah.
And he did not bring enough to share.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. I brought some. Should have offered.
So I have some fun facts about this game and its development because it is pretty interesting.
Did not know there was a fun fact segment. This will be my favorite.
Yeah, this is
Girl, the whole
good.
show is fun facts.
Lay 'em on me. Let's do it.
So Shigeru Miyamoto, who came up with the game, who designed the story and everything, based this all off of his quote-unquote explorations as a young boy. So he lived in Sonobe, Japan, and there were forests and lakes and caves and villages, and he would just go walking around all these places, and he was like, I want to make a game where everyone gets to do this.
That's fun. How many princesses did he rescue?
I don't think he rescued any princesses.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
A true warrior never kisses and tells anyway. So
that's fair. Yeah.
But he apparently had this incredible experience finding a cave entrance and exploring it with a lantern. And this is like a major thing that impacted his life.
Yeah, that would be a core memory for me for sure.
Spelunking has that effect.
Yeah. Other fun facts. So this was all directly based on The Lord of the Rings. They had read these books. They were very excited about them. The Master Sword, which is the sword that Link gets that is, I think, the best of the best, was actually introduced as Excalibur in the French version of the game. So they were doing these things. But yeah, the other fun thing is that Miyamoto read about Zelda Fitzgerald.
Oh.
And thought that the name sounded pleasant and significant. And that's why he decided to name the princess in the game Zelda.
That's cute.
That's an amazing. I've never heard of that, and I want to believe it so bad. I'm going to believe it.
I think it's believable. I'm pretty sure it's something he said.
Believable.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's absolutely something he would have. Well,
also,
yeah, I mean, he might have said it.
Enough people asked
he's like,
him.
Man, I've been getting asked. Yeah, I gotta come up with something like really cute and adorable.
Print the legend. Print the legend.
Perfect.
And Link and the fairies that you collect. So in the game, like sometimes when you need healing, there are hearts that some enemies will drop, and you can pick those up to get 1 heart back. Occasionally, a fairy will appear, and if you collect those, you get all of your health restored. regardless of how long your health bar is. And your health bar grows as you advance in the game because you find these empty heart containers that are also in pieces. So sometimes you have to get like 4 separate pieces of a heart container to get a full added heart. And it gives you a little more longevity. But the fairies are great for this. They also appear kind of traditionally through waterfalls in almost all the games in the series. If you find a waterfall, good chance that you should walk into it because it's probably a passageway to like a grove where there are fairies hanging out.
And did you learn that from Microsoft Power? Or no, sorry, Nintendo Power?
I knew that from experience. It was like a big
The
thing.
fairies are a pretty obvious mechanic.
Oh, I meant the waterfall
Oh,
being
yeah.
passageways.
Oh, that I don't know.
Yeah, the waterfall thing was probably a friend showing me like, oh, walk through that waterfall. And then you do,
Hell yeah.
and there's like a pond and the fairies there.
They're very water centric. I mean, the original game, the fairy lives in a lake basically.
Okay,
So,
okay.
The way this mechanic is sort of switched in Zelda 2 is interesting because as I was playing this last week, it dawned on me that like you go into towns in Zelda 2 and random women will be like, hey, come into my house for a minute. I'll make you feel better. And then you go behind closed doors and your health fills up and then you get spit back out onto the street.
And they're like, hey, doesn't that feel better?
Yeah. Yeah.
What type of adventures was this creator having on his childhood walkabouts?
Right?
They're just ladies of the town trying to help you feel better.
My word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where do you think she's
Warriors
what,
have to recover somehow.
baking a pie for him or
Yeah, just soothing his wounds.
It's probably some light massage involved. I don't know.
salves?
Little ASMR.
Depends on the
just
injury.
whispering.
Yeah. Maybe it's just a cup of tea and a little nap. Who knows? But
There's no way to
he
know.
walks out feeling great. I know that.
And this wasn't in the magazine. Didn't tell you the backstory.
No, this one's obvious.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't ever notice it until this time playing it because I don't think I was paying attention ever. And I was just like, oh shit, that's something. Something is
It's a little
happening.
spicy.
Because a lot of the other places in this game that you can enter into, you will actually enter into an interior space and there will be a person to go talk to. And they will be like, go to the west and get a lamp, whatever. They will say something that's fairly clear but fairly esoteric because you don't really know. But in this particular instance, you don't go inside anywhere. You just get hauled in by this lady and you get kicked
Just
out.
come in. Let me help you.
Yeah.
Are they cute?
I mean, one of them I think would be defined as like a younger woman, and one of them was an older woman.
Yeah, the
Well-
magic restoration's an older woman.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. That
So-
makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
You know?
because you gotta get some experience under your belt to know how to
Yeah,
bring
absolutely.
magic back.
Hondo P.
A lot of books of spells,
Hondo
so
P.
Yeah,
takes time.
but yeah, these games are so difficult.
Now, wait, what's his relationship to Zelda? Hold on. I always assumed that they were lovers. Is he
Well, yeah, necessarily horny, but
okay?
it's,
Okay.
a lot's left to the imagination.
Yeah, I think the thing with Link is that he is just the hero in the way
He's
that
just the
like
chosen one.
There's no like clarity that Zelda's necessarily interested in him, and a lot of the
Okay.
media that comes out of this game, the cartoons, the like, there were bits on like Super Mario Brothers Super Show, which was a show for a little while that was like half live action, half animated, and like Link is kind of a dork who's always trying to flirt with Zelda, but she's always spurning him, right? And that carries through a lot of the media that happens. Because Zelda's always self-possessed and like, I don't need your help. You don't know what you're doing. And Link's kind of either a dipshit or he does sort of heroic things by accident. Not in the first 2 games, but in the first 2 games, Zelda doesn't really appear at all, other than at the very end of the first one, and when she wakes up at the very end of the second one. But she like
Yeah, she's just sleeping the whole time in the second one.
the second one, the
that's
game
why-
opens. You're in
that's why
the
you were
room
calling
where
her
she's
sleeping.
laying on a stone, like she's laying
Like
in
Sleeping
state.
Beauty.
Sleeping
Yeah,
Beauty?
yeah, that's it.
Okay, so who's Ganon?
Ganon is like a pig-faced wizard villain who is
Perfect.
repeated throughout the game.
Spot on.
Yeah, he's got a pig, kind of a boar face. He's got like
You know, like
tusks.
what was it? Was that show the Outer Limits or
Oh, the
something like that, where they all had pig faces.
yes,
you know
that's
what I'm
an
talking
episode
about?
of Twilight Zone where it's
Twilight
like,
Zone. Thank
yeah.
you.
Twilight
Goodness, I was
Zone,
like, why
yeah,
am I only
yeah.
thinking of Outer Limits? That's like the discount version of it. But yeah.
Because it's the episode where the lady gets plastic surgery, and the
Yeah,
doctors are
okay.
all like, they take her bandages off, and she's like this beautiful woman, and they're like, oh
Yeah.
no, it didn't work.
Yeah.
And she's
Oh,
like,
God,
let me look
yeah,
at
yeah.
myself, and she holds the mirror up, and you see her seeing her face, and then you see in the background all pig people.
That's like Ganon.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And what's his obsession with Zelda?
He just wants to control Hyrule.
The Triforce.
And he
Oh.
wants the Triforces to control that. Zelda being the one like completely good entity that exists in all of Hyrule stands in his way, and he always curses her with something or kidnaps her or hides her somewhere, right? Like sometimes
she's the
sometimes she
Scully.
gets like sent into a time warp, other times she's just sleeping, other times she's locked in a cell. Like it's yeah. She's always sort of this motivating factor, which is why I think that the game where you play as her is kind of disappointing, that she finally has a chance to be the one, and it's still like, but she's
Yeah.
not really going to do anything. She's just going to she's going to manifest assistance.
Wah.
Wah.
Okay.
Task Rabbit.
I don't think that's that bad. I mean, if she's the one controlling all these extra beings, you know, like conjuring them and directing them, like,
I guess that's better than.
I'm going to give her credit for that.
Yeah, Drew's the only feminist on the show.
That's
That's
true.
true.
for that.
Yeah.
She's running the show. And you know, maybe it's smarter. Like, don't do it all yourself. Like Link just grinds it out. You know, like, well, he doesn't have to do
That's
that either if he
true.
could conjure up some awesome Pokemons.
I mean, it is. You do have to be strong to ask for help.
Absolutely.
So
We all need
That's
help.
important, yeah.
Even Link gets help. He's got items. He gets upgrades. He's not really doing it by himself.
Yeah, he gets a blue shirt,
He's-
and then he gets a red
he
shirt,
gets,
or vice versa,
yeah.
depending on the game.
these ladies sure are helping him
Yeah.
in some capacity in the town behind closed doors.
Oh, yeah.
They're motivating factors.
He's very reliant on the help of women, whether they be fairy or human.
So how did he get? Is he just the hero on call for Hyrule? Like, how did he get roped in?
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. He's just always like
Okay.
this game. You just start in a spot. You don't really
Yeah.
have a lot of preamble. Same with the second.
No,
game.
but it's in the magazine. I need.
Well, yeah, it is in the magazine, and it's in the video that I sent you of the entire opening scroll of the game.
Which I did not realize was a video for a long time
Yeah.
because the play button like blends in perfectly to all the white text on the screen.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought that you just sent me a picture being like, it's the Zelda start screen, and I was like, radical.
Why would I look at that?
Yeah, that's cool. I get it. Yeah, that's what it is. It's on the internet. Thanks. Yeah, I mean, he is just sort of the chosen one. It's like the classic chosen one trope, right?
Okay.
In A Link to the Past and the Super Nintendo one, you are kind of, I think, like you wake up in the middle of the night because there's a thunderstorm and something's wrong, and you go to the palace to see what's up with Zelda. And it's clear that a coup has occurred.
Because you're like, it's always her. It's always Zelda.
Well, he's only got two things on his mind. He likes Zelda, and he likes, smashing pots and baskets and stuff, and getting the rupees inside.
But, oh, God.
Pots and baskets. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what he's
Baskets.
smashing.
Okay. Just like our first craft episode. Listeners, if you want to hear about the history of pots and baskets. I'm not doing a bit.
No, this is
Drew looks
it's
like
a perfect
I'm doing a
tie-in.
bit.
It's really
I believe
good.
you.
That was looming over us the whole time.
I'll show you what I crafted.
Please do.
I will. Chelsea's basket looked dope as hell.
Yeah, Chelsea's basket was great. My pot currently lives in the basement of my house because I have not yet smashed it. But it needn't see the light.
I brought my Delia Deets.
I thought
with
pot
me
needs
to
light
San
to grow,
Francisco.
but I don't know. Maybe your basement
grow
is
lights.
different.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. This was a very fundamental game for me. It's one of those things that, like, on one hand, it's almost, I don't know, like, informs a lot of my video game history, but it's also one of the games that I have played the least over time because of the difficulty. Because I sort of hit a wall with it, and I like it for nostalgia reasons, but even as I was playing it on the Nintendo Classic these last couple of weeks to prep for this, I was like, this is fun, but I'm really like, this is exhausting. It's so,
It's still
Struggle
tough.
Street.
yeah.
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 That's why I respect the hell out of the guys that speedrun it. I mean, they take an impossible game and just obliterate it so masterfully. And they break down every detailed mechanic where it's like 5-year-old me watching that would think literally God is playing this game.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just mind blowing what they do.
Well, and I even
And to have a resurgence of the love for the original, like what these developers did to start this, it's incredible.
Yeah. So when did you start playing it? Like right when it came out?
Probably a couple years after. As Nate was telling his story about when he got the NES, I was trying to remember, like, we definitely got it for Christmas one year. It was like a mutual gift kind of thing. Maybe I was 6 or 7. So like a year or two after the game came out.
Gosh.
Yeah.
And it's challenging for you as grown-ups.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
It's
you're just
well, because it's so different from any modern game too, right?
Yeah,
It's like you don't have continuity of this style of game.
Yeah. It's clunky in retrospect, right? Like all the games that I play now, you can move fluidly and you can do things that you would expect to be able to do. This is like, you just can't do
They don't
some
let you
stuff.
die for stupid reasons in the new games,
Yeah.
Like they warned you beforehand, but you could just you could walk in any disaster in the original game.
And the original game also has this added anxiety about it because one, it has really excellent music for being an 8-bit game. Like it has a MIDI soundtrack that is very orchestral and fun and feels heroic. But the soundtrack in the dungeons, which become very gloomy, very minor key, and very pressury, are still triggering to me. Like it makes it difficult for me to do it because it feels like the stakes have elevated. Like they did such a good job with the sound design that you go from the overworld to any of these spaces and it's like, I don't know. This is weird. And
Immediate tension. Absolutely.
and whenever Link gets down to 1/2 remaining heart,
Oh, the beep.
a chime, a beep starts happening where it's just beep, beep.
I'm getting
beep,
anxiety
beep,
already.
Beep, beep. You hear this sound until you find more health.
Oh,
die.
God.
Or you die.
Yeah.
It is telling you are in danger and you feel it because it immediately when I was playing the other night, my palms start sweating when that beep starts happening. And there is absolutely no reason. Like there is no imminent real danger in my life, nor does the game become more difficult. But it's just it's like bottom of the ninth, 2 outs kind of thing. It's like all the pressure is now that if you make even the slightest mistake, it's all over.
Yeah, and here's a constant reminder every second
Yeah,
that you're
yeah.
right on that boundary. Yeah,
This
absolutely.
is, I mean, sound design is so important. There, like in horror movies, there are specific chords that they use to build tension just because all humans hear it and are like,
Yeah.
like, yeah, of course
hurts.
a beep can stress you out.
But flip side of that coin, for how long you're in those dungeons and how long you're in the overworld and the repetitive, like the music never gets boring or repetitive. It just
No, it feels like it's this very continuous, long, sweeping thing, and it's really one track that loops probably every 30 to 40 seconds, or
Oh, wow.
yeah,
something like that. And you could be in there for hours as a kid,
Yeah.
and just it never gets bad, never gets old.
Just vibing.
it's a difficult game because it's disorienting. Like having the map is essential, but having someone write all the places to go on the map in their order, like I'm going to probably do that once we've done this. I didn't want to know. I wanted to see what I did without any, back knowledge other than what I thought I could remember, which it turns out very little. I had very little memory of how to play this game correctly. You get into these areas where you'll enter and 3/4 of the screen is water and there's a sea monster, and the sea monster shoots this unblockable projectile at you, and it can come at any angle and it moves very quickly. And
it targets you.
Oh.
It knows where you're going somehow.
Yeah, and like 3 or 4 other objects will pop up. Some of the enemies like disappear briefly into the ground, and then they come back up and they spin. They have a lot of the movements are
Some
kind of
shoot rocks at you.
unpredictable. Yeah, you have because you have some fairly normal there's like these rock shooting kind of, I don't know, lizardy, but they're sort of like weird things. I can't remember what they're called now.
The Octoroks. I think they're
Octoroks.
called.
Thank you. That is what they're called. You get a point. I don't know. We don't give points, but you get a point.
That was a
we
very
go.
vague idea.
Yeah. The Octoroks move in a relatively predictable way, right? They walk, they turn, they shoot. And you can block the rocks by facing them because you're always holding your shield up unless you're attacking. So as long as you don't attack the moment the rock hits you, you're fine. You just dink, it goes off. Now, some of the other enemies will dip down. They will move in a just hard to predict way. They will kind of go all over the place. And so you don't really have, one, any way to block them, and two, any way to predict where they're going to go. So you're playing very on your heels all the time, like super cautious. And you add in any of these factors where either that sea monster or especially in the dungeons, they will just have these projectile shooting things in some of the rooms. You walk into the room, suddenly 4 projectiles are coming at you and 3 guys are here, and you have to make the decision to go into the one square on the screen that is safe. Otherwise, you're dead. and that's the whole game. The game is constantly making those decisions and hoping you get it right. Because it's like not, they don't repeat exactly how they show up either every time you go in.
Always different.
So you can't just go like, okay, cool, I go in this room, I turn left, I turn right, I do this. You have to read the situation and then make the right decision a lot.
Yeah, even the speedrunners, like they have some ability to kind of control those patterns, but not really.
There was one of the interesting things was something was dictated by a random number, but the random number starts generating at the start of the game, and it starts from the same seed every time.
Yes.
So it's
you can
not
control
random.
it to that point.
Yeah. So
other games take
compelling.
advantage of that. There's RNG manipulated versions of other RPGs that we should talk about sometime in the future.
Okay.
It's incredible what humans can do when they figure out
crazy.
how to manipulate random number generation.
Who figured that out?
Nothing's truly random.
It's true. Random in computers is you can't
There's
do it.
proof of it.
You can't do it.
Yeah. I mean, it can get asymptotically close to randomness.
It's random-ish.
Eventually, yeah.
Give speedrunning nerds enough time and we'll show that nothing's random. Yeah. Can memorize the route. But yeah, very little RNG manip in the Zelda speedruns.
What is that? What words are you saying to me
the
right now?
random number generation, RNG for short.
Got it.
Manipulation.
Okay. I had manip. Yeah.
RNG manip. That's what they'll call it. Different categories.
Got it.
I bet they're playing with some manips in those houses when they're healing it.
Exactly.
Yep, I agree. I
manipping
agree.
something. That's for sure. But what is manipulated too is the glitches that we were talking about.
Yeah.
That's part of the artifacts of the game design that the developers don't have time to test out. They fix the major ones and then they ship it and then people play it. And usually you avoid the glitches until you're trying to break it on purpose.
Yes, until
and
you're
then
trying
you
to
get
exploit.
those screen scrolls and other awesome things that people take advantage of.
So interesting.
Even controlling what the enemies will drop.
Yeah.
We think it's random.
It's never random.
Not.
It's not random.
Yeah. Well, and this is the thing that's so interesting, right? Is a game like this, we live in an era where every game is patched almost immediately after coming out because they're like, oh, we found another bug. None of that happens here. This is a thing.
They
Well, the
sell
only way
2
to
million
find them-
cartridges out the door.
Yep.
There's
Yeah,
no patches.
exactly.
we're done. That's it. This exists now.
That's what you get.
This is what it is. Yeah. Which is wild because to Nintendo's credit and to the developers' credit, like these games are really good for never having been touched again. They are still playable.
Well,
They
it's
are
also-
extremely difficult, but they remain playable. And it's not like even the Nintendo Classic versions, they fixed things. They just smoothed out some of the visuals. And maybe they smoothed out the controls a little bit, and they added the quality of life thing that, like, you have infinite continues now. Because the original game, I believe, like, once you died, you just had to start over from where you last saved.
Yep. And I think you start over with 3 hearts every time in the original game.
Yeah.
Like you don't get, well, actually, I'm trying to remember that.
I think you
100% on
can.
that.
I think you can
Don't kill
save
me,
when
audience.
you're full health. But anytime you die, you only get 3. So you have to refill your health bar.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. When
Okay.
you die, you just get
So it's
the
like you
3.
have to
Okay.
run to find a fairy if you want to get a full health bar quickly, or you just
Yeah.
have to grind it out.
Or
again.
control the drops for the
Or
hearts
control the
of
drops.
the enemies you kill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad Nate was able to correct you. I was about
Thank
to
you. Thank you.
give the
That was
audience your
close.
email
That
address.
was real close.
Appreciate it. Yeah, you can find me at Kelly at. No.
I mean, you can find me anywhere at Kelly, basically. At Kelly Attaway. That's me.
That is. It's you.
And if you message me anything about Zelda, I'll block you. Blocked and reported.
Immediately. Yeah, I do think we should say that like it's a pity that Chelsea's not here for this because Chelsea is a Zelda fan. At least the
She
newer
is,
games.
yeah.
I don't know. We'll when she's back, we'll have a conversation about this to see if the original.
Has she played the original?
I believe so.
Got to get her take on it.
Yeah.
As a retrospective
Hold on, let me
current
call her.
Zelda player.
Let me get her on the horn.
Like I said, I don't play the new ones. It's too fancy.
Yeah. I have both of the new ones, and I have played each of them for about 25 minutes. And this is largely because I have too many other games. That's my problem, is that I have Baldur's Gate 3 right now. I had Cyberpunk 2077. I have all these From Software games like Elden Ring and
Early
whatever
access
else.
Grand Theft Auto 6.
Yeah. You know, I'm sneaking. You know, there's some internet trucks that things fall off of. You know, it's just something that happens. But yeah, it's one of those things where like I fully intend to play them at some point, and I know that they will be brilliant. And it's just you have to fully dedicate yourself to these games because they are so immersive and they are so deep.
Man, it's such a shame that we don't do physical games really anymore. Like when you were describing the gold cartridges, that's so nice. That's such like a nostalgia thing to have and to like re-find whenever you're organizing your media drawer or whatever. I was trying to think like what are people from today gonna do? And I had the ludicrous idea that people are gonna be comparing like the hash code key that you get for access. Like, oh man, my digits are so low. I was one of the first people to get it.
Well, there is, I mean, so much of this, Drew, you mentioned like any of those sort of stores like Game Force, I think was one that was big. Like there's some now still. There is a used game environment, but it's much different. Like when
GameStop, the stonks.
Yeah, you got
GameStonk.
GameStonk, yeah. Yep. Back in the day though, like the places that I would go, and this was an era where it was just like somebody had space in a strip mall and they rented it out and they bought like 4 or 5 cabinets, and it's just people bring in stuff and they resell it. And you had this just really,
and it smelled like cough syrup usually for some reason.
It would smell really weird.
I feel like the one I went to smelled like feet.
It was generally feet, but the cough syrup I went with just because less of a disturbing visual, maybe.
Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, nobody pours cough syrup on their feet, do they?
Got a commitment to the truth.
Maybe didn't Tarantino do that in one of the
God, probably.
Sure.
That's a different podcast. Okay.
Yeah.
Listeners, if you would like to hear our take on the first Tarantino movie, Reservoir Dogs, we have an episode.
We're so pluggy today.
I'm
we're
in for
so
that one.
pluggy today.
We got our own horn out and we're tooting.
Toot toot, motherfucker.
Toot. But these stores were they were their own experience where you would go in and would be like, oh, I have a place where I can try a bunch of these games that otherwise you would just have to buy them, right? You would have to go to a Walmart or wherever and buy a game for $60 and hope you liked it.
Yeah.
Because they were almost never returnable also. It's like you open the box, we won't take it back.
No, that's why these spin-off stores for reselling started. But it was also like going into a wine shop today. Like, I like this game, and this game. And then somebody there, whether it be the person working there or like other gamers in the room are like, oh, cool, then you should try this. Like, where does that happen now? I guess Reddit? Does Steam have forums?
Yeah, there's Steam forums too. Yeah, so you would have that kind of stuff, absolutely. But yeah, I think it's all forms of social media. You don't have places where people, because we don't have arcades anymore really either, unless you have like a barcade that's around, and those are having a hard time too.
Sometimes movie theaters have them, but they're full of children.
Right. And it's almost always like there's a light gun game, and then there's like a Dance Dance Revolution style game.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I was also, when you were describing games being patched right after release anymore, it made me think of a few years ago, Kanye West released an album, and then people didn't like something on it, and it was only released on Tidal. You couldn't get physical copies. You couldn't get it on any of the other streamers. It was only on Tidal. So he remastered tracks and then replaced the album. That felt really weird to me.
I mean, I'm
that.
surprised you're
Stop
suggesting that Kanye West would ever do anything weird.
Well, this was before the break.
Yeah, before the cousin,
or maybe like
filleting
right
and
as it
Nazi
was.
declarations.
Times.
I guess it would have been after the cousin filleting, but
Well,
it was
yeah, temporarily.
before we knew about it.
Who's counting? I mean, Might have been on a leap year. We're gonna get rid of those.
Yeah. Who knows? It could.
Was it
maybe-
Life of Pablo? So maybe it was the first.
Yeah, no,
start of the break.
I do remember that, and this is very much like George Lucas fucking with the Star Wars movies and changing things,
Yeah.
and
Don't do
Spielberg
that.
changing E.T. to take the guns away and replace them with walkie talkies. These things where it's like, why are we?
didn't know about that.
Like, don't you have to let art be done, and the only reason
Yeah.
video games are an exception is because they're an interactive art, and I think ultimately like the changes should be made so that the interaction with the art is as satisfying as possible, and that's it, right? Don't change the
Yeah.
story fully. Make it so that like, oh hey, this part of the game was actually broken so much that anybody who decides to use this wins no matter what, and that makes it unfun.
Well, then don't use it. Don't do it then.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's a good argument too of just like people having sort of self-control and not doing that, but it's also cool to be like, hey, let's patch this spell or make this weapon less strong or remove this, change this bad guy so he's not
Oh, that's a
impossible.
good point. Busted spells are quite annoying.
Okay.
You get all these levels to get a spell, and then it just doesn't do what the manual says it's supposed to do. That it's a feature of some of those old games. Still.
But then they could publish a magazine.
well,
that
they would tell
tells
you
you-
that not to use those.
Yeah.
spells, but, yeah. You're still SOL.
Or fun ways to use it while broken. Some way to exploit the brokenness. Does that still happen in video game culture?
Oh.
Are you guys big gamers?
Oh, yeah. I mean, absolutely. Like it happens in all kinds of gaming culture. Like board games now, the bigger strategy board games, they will issue like sort of supplemental errata things. Dungeons and Dragons does this all the time too, where they, we're on 5th edition of D&D because we've gone through a previous, I guess, 5.5 because they did a 3.5. But they make these changes. They figure out that, oh, everybody levels up to this. They take these 3 spells and they just spam them. And they break the game because nothing can resist
Yeah.
those spells. They do this with like World of Warcraft. They do this with Final Fantasy games. They do this with all of that. It's more prevalent on online games because you're dealing with like, well, it's easier to figure
It's
out
scale.
Yeah, and
It's
it's
a
it's
different
easier to
scale,
sort
too.
of
It's like-
to create computer generated enemies who scale with the player well.
Yeah.
Whereas, you can't control that like, oh, this kid literally hasn't eaten or used the bathroom in 6 weeks and he's leveled his character up beyond what we could have conceived to be possible. And now everything in this is ruined.
When was the last time you played original Zelda? Drew.
Ooh, last time I played it? Over 15 years ago, for sure.
Okay. Why is that the metric? How do you know for sure?
Because I would have still been in Ohio at the time.
Okay.
And it's been at least that long.
Okay.
So it's an approximate number. But yeah, I had my NES set up like still all the way through college.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure I've popped it in at some point during that era.
Got it.
Early 2000s,
Okay.
maybe to 06. So yeah, 20 years closer to 20. It's been a hot minute.
And so, do you miss it?
I still probably
do you-
cannot beat it.
Do you think about her every day?
I should. I'm probably gonna. Yeah. Well, now that I'm thinking about it, it's like I should have got the gold cartridge out from storage, and I know
Oh,
whenever
yeah.
I find that, it will have the NES in there. The main question is it going to work?
Will it function?
Yeah. So maybe I'll find
Listeners,
out this
check back
afternoon.
in. Yeah.
See. I got the rest of my Sunday plans figured out.
Perfect.
After church, of
Cartridges
course.
have the
Of course.
batteries in them, right? And those batteries are the things that expire. So technically,
Yeah,
if you can get the right battery and
Oh.
crack the cartridge open, you can probably replace that and continue to play the game forever.
There's a battery in
That
the...
sounds like a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only thing that really expires. Because the battery is what powers the cartridge to hold your save
The
game.
save
data.
Oh, the
state.
save, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah,
Oh,
it doesn't
of
save
course.
in the NES itself. It's cartridge
Yeah,
based.
of course it's in
Yeah.
the cartridge. Whoa. Whoa, that's this whole other level. You can't it's not like you can go over to your friend's house and log into your session. You have to bring your cartridge.
Exactly.
Yeah. But you could just bring your cartridge, whereas now I'd have to take my whole PlayStation because it has my hard drive on it.
Oh, the game is saved still locally. It's still not internet based.
You can save
You're
on
not,
the cloud
uploading
too, and it
Snapchats?
does do both
Okay.
on a lot of them, but I don't always do that because I don't
Yeah.
like.
It's a whole
using
thing.
space.
Well, it's probably
Yeah.
subscription. You probably have to
That's
pay
the thing.
however much.
The more you save, the
Yeah.
more you have to spend. It's like all the clouds.
Ugh, I hate the cloud.
I know. Just bring me rain. That's what I want for my clouds.
Hate computer. I don't want to computer.
No more computer. No
more computer.
But yeah, I mean, previously to this, it had probably been, I would say, like 10 years since I had played Zelda. I mean,
what was it like to fire it back up, Nate?
I mean, it was wonderful. Like I was so giddy that I recorded the entire opening title screen scroll with all the information and texted it to Kelly because I was like, it's beautiful. I mean, the thing that's startling about it is it's like, this is now something that's from, 40 years ago. And it's...
Will you stop rounding up my age, please? Nate tried to call me 50 a few episodes ago.
I didn't try to call you that. I tried to call
closer to that than 20.
Yeah, it came out the same year I did, and you were like, "That's almost 50," and I was like,
But yeah, look, it's amazing what was possible 37 years ago, 36 years ago.
Thank you.
And how, despite the advances that gaming has made, how this is still very playable. It is still hard. It is still uncompromising in the way it functions, but it's great. And it has what it has really that's so nice is that opening scroll has the trappings of a classic arcade experience. Like if you played the original Pac-Man in a cabinet, where if you just let it run, you get the Pac-Man screen, you get the ghosts come in,
all the sprites.
They do their cute little bit, right, where 3 of the ghosts are fast and one of them straggles behind, the same way that there's always like the tiny version of the mouse or the tiniest dwarf, whatever. Like, you have all these just cute little trappings, and you're scrolling up the screen because we've got this monitor, we can't do anything else with this. We go up and down. And this feels like that. Because now games are just like, they're everywhere. They're all over you. They can, my PlayStation 5, like the controller has a speaker and a light system in it, as well as like a rumble pack function. So depending on the game I'm playing, like if I cast a spell, the controller will be like whoosh. And, and it doesn't matter how loud the TV is. So I can have the sound off and my controller will still be doing things. It will still be responding to all this stuff. The regular Nintendo controller doesn't do anything. It's just, it's a plastic rectangle with mostly functional, like they do what they're supposed to do. They don't give you a lot of range. They don't give you a lot of options. And that's it. The experience is holding this and looking at that, and that's it. And it's still fun. Like I was frustrated only because I could not do anything well, but not because I didn't see the virtue in the game. I was like, no,
what bushes to burn.
Yeah, I was like, this is beautiful. I don't have 60 rupees to buy that candle, and I know I need it. Where am I going to get all that money? And then really all you can do is
you gotta find the secret rupee, guys.
Yeah, you got to do that.
Or find the gambling zones.
This is the other thing.
That's another
zones?
JRPG feature is the gambling.
Link's just getting up to all sorts of vices.
In Zelda, they say what? Play money making game.
Okay.
And you pick one of the 3 rupee slots, and you either win or you lose. And
I want to play money making game.
Yeah,
it is
they get you hooked.
It is also that is revolutionary, right? I forgot about that, but that's a really good point. Like Zelda is pioneering these mini games within RPGs that become a huge deal. Yeah. Like the Final Fantasy series, they have some of the entries have like their own card games built in that you can play that are gambling things, but it's actually a fully functional card game with its own set of rules that you could just log into Final Fantasy and go spend an entire day playing just the game within the game. They also had like chocobo raising and races in Final Fantasy where you can like raise your cute little ostrich adjacent creatures and breed them to be super speed and then go race them in major races where you win a lot of money. Cyberpunk 2077 has an in-game arcade thing where there's 2 different arcade games that you can go belly up to the arcade game and play an 8-bit facsimile game where it's like an endless runner where you're a horse, or one where it's kind of like a Contra shooter style thing. And this is pervasive to all of these games. Like the Persona games specifically are very cool. They're JRPGs where you kind of can exist your whole life in a facsimile of Tokyo.
Quick question. Yeah. Was a JRPG?
Japanese role-playing games.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
The Persona games, like, So the mechanic on those is you sort of have a ticking clock each day. You're a high school student, and you have to decide how to spend your time each day. So your time can be spent hanging out with your friends who are also your party members when you do the RPG element of the game, like going into a dungeon and fighting a boss. And when you hang out with them, form a stronger bond. It allows you to both fight better together when you're in the same party.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
you choose to do other things. You can work a side job. You can go to like a ramen place and get food. You can go to the batting cages. You can visit the doctor. And the doctor sometimes is just like the doctors in Zelda 2, where it's like, this is a hot flirty lady, and I'm hanging out with this doctor.
Let me make you feel better.
Yeah.
We're playing doctor today.
Yeah, but you can spend
She said she was a
all of
doctor.
your time doing other things that aren't the game that you signed up for. And Legend of Zelda starts that trend by saying, hey, this is a
Interesting.
thing, but there's also going to be a gambling situation. There's also like this old lady in a cave that appears and she never says anything until you reach certain points in the game where then you can interact
Gotta
with
show her
her.
the letter.
Yeah. And so you just have these like really deep thought out interactivities that go beyond what Pong could provide or what Pac-Man could provide, where it's like, here's the rails, do the thing. Just do these two things. Collect these, eat the ghosts. Legend of Zelda, you're like, okay, you can go to literally any place you want to right away. You can start finding money and buy stuff, and you can use that stuff to do other things. You might discover secrets that you don't know about. You might just go gamble. You might just spend a day in a dungeon trying to figure out how to get through it, even though you're way underleveled to do it successfully.
Okay, so I watch speedruns because you sent me links.
Nah,
Lack attack.
Yes, but I was laughing at. I said the
Or
word
the
links.
links to them.
Yeah.
See what I? Yeah.
we'll
And
revisit
most of those are
that
from the
pun,
past, so-
and I see what you did there, just so you know.
Put a pin in it.
Put a pin in it.
So, what got you into speedruns?
So the pandemic happened, and you spent a little more time on YouTube than you should probably. I forget exactly. Somehow the algorithm pointed me in the direction one day.
Got it. And you
And
just took. You
I
just rode
saw
the.
I saw the first Zelda run under, I think it was 30 minutes or something like
Jeez.
that.
Yeah.
And it just clicked into my brain that I needed to uncover everything about this.
Yeah.
Because it was ridiculous. Just you could see how busted they made the game with the screen scrolling and forcing the bomb drops and
Yeah.
all the routing that they did. Like they went in a non-linear order through the dungeons, taking advantage of certain items in certain orders.
A linear order.
Right, but when you're a kid, you probably start with Dungeon 1 and then Dungeon 2 because that's kind of what the map
Oh, so
tells
they're
you to do through
labeled
the first three.
one. They're labeled.
Yeah,
on
they're
the
labeled
map?
levels 1, 2, etc.
Okay,
But
okay.
you don't have to go in order.
I
You
noticed
could
that
walk
it was
into
like.
level 8 if you have the candle. and-
Yeah, I noticed that in one of the videos. It was like, okay, I've beat level 7.
I think he
but
starts
I
at
haven't
level
done
3.
5 or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah. So I was enthralled. I was like, what the hell is this?
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, I was captivated. So, and then the algorithm feeds you, right? It
Yeah,
goes
dude.
to the world record progression and then the mechanics of how this happens into the subpixel resolution of how that screen scroll
Yeah,
works.
that was
and
really
the
fascinating.
chart of the item drops that you realize these humans have memorized
Yeah.
and act within half a second real time assessment of what the characters are doing on the screen. It's just incredible.
That's fascinating.
So yeah, like 50 things aligned for me to get hooked on it. And
Did you go down that rabbit hole with other games or just Zelda?
of course, other games too. Yeah.
What's-
all the Marios?
All the Marios.
have amazing versions.
Okay.
Mega Man.
Which one is Mega Man? Would I recognize him?
He's
I
a blue
hope so.
guy. He's a blue robot
blue
boy,
guy.
and whenever you beat bosses, you get one of their powers.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you beat Metal Man, you get his like metal blades,
Sick.
etc. Yeah.
Okay.
Mega Man.
You beat
that's a big
Woodman, and
series.
you get a leaf shield.
Yeah.
It's great.
Whoa.
It's great stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I know this guy.
So there's speed runs just go deep and they're all
Yeah.
amazing. Each one is its own community and it's fantastic.
So interesting.
Yeah.
I'm compelled to learn more about how people pick. Are there many people who hold records for multiple games?
Absolutely.
Okay.
There are dominators for series
Their
of
thing
games.
is speed runs, not like I do Zelda. It's like I hack games.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
there's different categories to mini games. So Zelda in particular, one of the features is if you have a second controller plugged in, and on the second controller you press up and A at the same time, it's an instant death.
For you?
Yes. It's
Okay.
only one character. It's just you. But you do it
Yeah.
on purpose to get back to some reset part of the game, right? Like it gets you out of a
Weird.
dungeon or gets you away from some annoyingly far place you are and brings you back home, and then you're closer to where you want to be.
Yeah, it's a fast travel
So-
mechanism.
Exactly.
It's
so
like
there's,
the corners in Clue.
there's
Yes.
a category that lets you take advantage of that, or categories that say, hey, that's not in the spirit of the game and we don't want to do that. So
Okay, sure.
choose your own community to run in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And there's different
fascinating.
flavors. Like there's different challenges. There's a swordless category.
Whoa.
Where you don't walk into that first
Yeah.
cave, and it's very dangerous to go without this. So you figure that out.
So it's like you're playing on hard mode.
Well, you just don't use a sword, right? So what are you stuck with? It makes you get creative. Find bombs,
No.
find the other items that help you kill the enemies. You
That's so fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, humans are such curious little creatures.
Well, it is
fantastic.
It is really cool design because like the boomerang in Legend of Zelda has like a paralyzing effect. So you can throw the boomerang at any enemy and it will stop them from doing anything for like 3 seconds, 4 seconds. They kind of flash and then they come back into their normal motion state. So you combine these things and you can do a lot. You can have like the bow and arrow and bombs and the boomerang, and you can do pretty much everything that you would do with a sword. You just use up resources that you have to replenish in those cases, but it is an interesting way to do it.
God, that's so compelling.
Yeah, there's so many flavors to speedruns.
Yeah. And the cool thing,
So many
like,
categories.
speedruns have become so popular that Nintendo addressed it last year by releasing a game called Nintendo World Championships NES Edition, which is basically you buy this game and it gives you these speedrun scenarios. And you compete
Oh.
against other people around the world. So one of the scenarios, several of them are Legend of Zelda based, but it's like you go into this room, you have to clear this room in a certain period of time. How do you clear it the fastest you can clear it? Or get from this point to this point, which means, you know, you have to run over here, you have to get this key, you have to use the candle to do this, you got to go in there. It's really cool because it's adding this different dimension to the game, which is not just play the game to beat the game on its own terms, but it's create your own challenges within the game to beat it on its own terms or against its own terms entirely.
So interesting. Now, did that do the speedrunners like that, or was that a way to get normal players to feel like they were speedrunning?
Oh, I think it's taking advantage of like people watching speedrun videos and being interested in it but not wanting to have to buy every single game or track them all down.
Yeah.
Because this is a
Okay.
situation where it collects a bunch of old Nintendo games, so like from this era, from the 80s, and Nintendo's saying, here, you can have access to all of these and we've curated challenges for you to do. So it's both the same and different, but it's a lower entry point, I think, financially than a speedrunner. With the exception, of course, is that anybody can get ROMs of these games and play them and speedrun them. But, you know, Nintendo doesn't want you to emulate. So they're going to sell a version.
Of course. You smiled when I asked that question. Do you have insight?
Not about that. I'm enjoying watching you learn that all these things exist. And it's a way for humans to explore the fun of these kinds of games. But I was thinking, so in addition to these speedrun challenges Nate was mentioning, there's other ROM hacks that are like randomizers for these games. So they're like shortened versions of it that don't have all the required elements. You know, you can
Okay.
maybe finish them in an hour or two, something like that. But every time it's going to be different.
Interesting.
The locations of the items will be random. So sometimes the enemy's abilities will be random. It just completely wild cards the game. So if you got bored of crushing a particular flavor of
Yeah,
that
you got too
speedrun,
good.
here you go.
Yeah.
See how good you really are.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. There's no end to the creativity.
Somebody's programming all that. Which means that's a whole other community. That's people who loved it enough to be like, I want to be challenged. I want so badly to be challenged more that I am going to spend my precious free time on this earth in my one wild life writing software to
Yes.
achieve this.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I when I run D&D campaigns, I homebrew a lot of stuff. which is the same idea. It's like, I want an item that does this for this puzzle to work, and it doesn't
Yeah.
exist. Or I don't want to
Yeah.
run a campaign as it's written in a book. I want to make up my own story and use the framework of this. And yeah, you get these mods where they can be just fundamentally different too. You get these like 0.5 editions of these games where someone's like, this would be the sequel I would have made.
Yeah, fanfic.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I love that.
exactly. It's charming.
I love that.
You think you can do it better? Go ahead.
Oh, I definitely can't. I love
No,
this
not
idea.
you literally. I mean, like the one.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Get in there.
Yeah.
Nate, did I know that you did D&D?
I thought you did, but now you do.
I've known since 10 minutes ago. How long does it take you?
I don't know. I don't know stuff sometimes.
No, yeah, it's one
all
of my
full of
favorite things
secrets.
is to do to DM games because it's it's just collaborative storytelling. That's really all it is.
Yeah, I think you'd be good
Yeah,
at it.
I like putting on voices and being goofy and also
Worshiping Satan.
Yeah, absolutely.
well,
I like
what I
to
like. That's
lead
my
my
favorite part.
friends to culverts underneath train tracks and drown them.
Yep,
because
mhm, yep,
we
yep,
can't
yep.
discern the difference between reality and fiction. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yep.
Tom Hanks movie is one of the most hilarious things that's ever existed.
Which one?
He was in, I can't remember what
I
it's
don't know
called, but
this.
he's in a after school special style D&D
Big.
movie where
Well, that one's
Tom
fantastic.
Hanks and all of his
His old
friends
tar
are playing
machine.
D&D and they all get too deep into it, but he's the one who goes all the way in. And so at the end of the movie, his friends are like, "Hey, Tom Hanks's character's name. It's okay. You don't this isn't real." And he's like, "But I don't know. I'm not anything without." It's just way overacted.
How do I not
It's
know
delightful.
this?
I don't know this either.
You'll find it on
Okay,
YouTube, and
that's
then you'll
our
get a
action
lot of
item
bad
to-
Tom
Okay.
Hanks
Yeah.
movies in your
New
algorithm.
Sunday plans.
I thought I knew all the bad Tom Hanks movies.
Oh yeah, it's
but-
because that
I'm
that
happy
movie
to
came
learn.
out. That's peak satanic panic when everybody
Yeah.
was like, D&D is causing this. D&D is
Yeah,
making these
exactly.
kids into Satan worshippers.
and that rock and roll music when you play it
Yeah,
backwards.
absolutely.
Very dangerous.
The Gate.
Paul is
Do you remember
dead,
the movie
Paul
The
is dead,
Gate?
Paul is
Did you ever
dead.
see that?
Oh my God. Can I tell you a story about the movie The Gate?
Let's do it.
So
Can we stop you?
you can unplug my
You can
microphone.
try.
So that is a movie. I don't remember a ton, but there is some imagery from it that is
Eyeball
like
in the hand?
burned in eyeball in the
Yeah.
hand, and it's like burned into my brain. And for years, I was describing that imagery to people. Like, do you know this movie? I had like flyers up around town. Like, do you know this movie? Call Kelly.
Yeah.
And finally, one of my bartenders, it was incredible. I was like talking about horror movies because I'm me. Listeners, you can go check out the backlogs of Never Show the Monster, a funny podcast about scary movies. No new episodes.
For now.
And so for now, I was talking to a bartender about scary movies, and I was like, there's one that I have this imagery in my brain from, and I don't know what it's called. Maybe you know. And all I did was lift my hand. I didn't even get to describe the eyeball. I just lifted my hand, and he goes, The Gate. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, maybe that's it. So I looked it up. Yep, sure enough.
I had the same experience with that movie because I saw it. I feel like I saw it on cable at some point when I was very young, like too young to have
Yep.
seen it because the eyeball in the hand, the fact that they're playing the record backwards, and that's what opens the gate. And then
which is like just a big hole in the ground,
yeah,
right?
They
Yeah.
live in Florida, so there's a sinkhole, and it happens to lead to hell this time. Not just
Do you
Florida.
know this movie, Drew? Okay.
The
Oh, you're too scared. You're too scared. Okay.
I don't know if I'm too scared. I just wouldn't want to watch those kinds of movies.
Yeah.
I'm
Sorry.
not
go
scared
on.
to hear about the movie.
Yeah. No.
the other thing is when the like dead zombie man comes bursting out of the wall on the staircase because apparently
yeah.
like one of the people who was building their house died during construction, and instead of burying him for reasons that are capitalistic,
No, just
they
seal it
just
up.
like
It's
seal him in the
easier.
wall. I remember so much of that. And I keep meaning to go back and rewatch The Gate because I know it's going to be awful because I know it's not a good movie, but I want to watch it again.
Let's watch it. Let's find a first, and we'll watch The Gate.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, it's like the first movie you and I both had an obsession with but could not describe to anyone until
Yes.
recently. Like, it was 5 years ago that I think I figured out what this movie was called.
That's
And then
probably
it's
about
just
when I
everywhere
figured it
now.
out.
Like I go on Tubi and all the streaming services have the gate on it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I will be checking
Oh,
justwatch.com.
yeah. We will. We're gonna do the gate episode. But now,
Hell yeah.
is it time for the MouthGarf report?
It's time for the MouthGarf report.
It's time for the MouthGarf report.
The MouthGarf Report. For some lasagna.
I hate Mondays.
So I have a very
Michael J. O'Connor.
exciting MouthGarf discovery while I was looking into this, because as we all know, Garf has his fingers in everything.
Yeah, gross.
And would you believe that Jim Davis, the creator of Garfield, loved The Legend of Zelda?
I would believe it.
So in 2015,
Who doesn't?
Is he a speedrunner?
no, he's not, unfortunately. And
Is he even with us anymore?
oh yeah, he's with us.
Oh,
yeah,
thank
he's-
goodness.
he's
it's one of
around.
those where it's like,
Yeah, that could go either way.
Yeah, I
I
think
don't
he's
know.
dating Taylor Swift.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah. So this is from a website called GamesBeat from 2015. And I'm not going to say that this is a particularly compelling
Sounds
article,
legit.
but it was neat that I found this quote. So, when asked by GamesBeat about what games he played, Jim Davis had the following to say, quote, "I've played a lot of your free cell kinds of games online as far as it's been along, well, I'll tell you. He's not a very concise thinker. This is me editorializing Jim Davis. We love you, Jim.
Maybe he's very
Mondays.
charming,
Right.
though. Maybe the way he's delivering this is really
Yeah.
endearing.
Oh, it is. I'm just surprised. Look, GamesBeat probably isn't even really a thing anymore, so no wonder they didn't really even cut this
heard of
quote. He says, I'll tell you, RPG games like Zelda, I got into that. And then the demands of the strip, he's talking about Garfield, and the TV and movies and everything, he's talking about Garfield's cinematic universe.
Bill Murray is very needy.
Yes. Everything became so strong that I had to consciously step away from it. As much as I loved video games and things like that, just to simply preserve my time for the projects we have going on here. When I get into a game, I always have somebody along to help steer. So there's a lot going on here.
Oh,
But Jim liked Legend of
Interesting.
Zelda.
A lot of layers to that lasagna of an answer.
Well done.
were you working
A
on that the whole
complicated
time?
man.
You weren't even listening. You were like, "How do I?"
No,
That was very saucy. I will say that.
Okay, all right, guys.
definitely cheesy.
Yeah,
but-
yeah.
No, he's not wrong though. I mean, Zelda would suck you in, and the man
Yeah.
had a lot of work to
did.
do, right? He focused on his craft, and he had bills to pay and Garfields to create. I'm not going to blame the man, but
No, not at all.
he shouted out the OG Zelda.
Yeah,
He's
dude.
not wrong.
He's not wrong. So there you go. That's some hard-hitting
2015.
journalism for the MouthGarf
Dang.
report. We also can we share Chelsea's MouthGarf report?
Yes.
What is it?
She had one of her wisdom teeth removed.
Oh my God! Yes. Well, of course we have to share
Yeah.
this.
So the ongoing will they won't they about the removal of wisdom teeth, and the won't they remains Kelly. They won't be removed. She will not.
no,
she will not let them go.
I'm keeping mine. I'm keeping my babies.
But Chelsea had one removed, and I guess the rest are just they're
She's
they're
keeping 'em.
too they're too firmly they're too staunchly
Impacted.
set in.
Yeah.
And
They were like, "Dang,
yeah.
those are in there."
Yeah, these are
might as well.
done. So,
Dang.
but one is out, and for the listeners, Chelsea said that she wanted to try to send it to me so that I could have it for my weird teeth stuff.
Do
And,
whatever it is that Nate does with the teeth.
Exactly, whatever I say, I do with the
No
teeth.
further questions.
No.
Yeah, I'm realizing now I forgot to fill you in on the teeth
I'm not mad about
thing.
any of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I need to know.
It's probably better if you don't.
Yeah, no, it'll be way scarier in your imagination, so I prefer it this way.
I do understand the whole maybe you don't want your wisdom teeth
has
getting pulled
teeth.
out kind of thing.
Do you have
I
yours?
get that. I had them all removed. I remember I was a teenager,
Yeah.
16 or something.
Yeah.
And my bottom two had come in.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctor was like, "We're going to pop those out too." And I was like, "Why?" He's like,
They're
"'Cause you're not
here.
going to be able to clean them." I was like, "Shut up, old man. You don't know anything."
I'm doing a really
No,
good
I'm very
job.
glad he took them out though, because like my back molars now, which would have been the pre-back molars, like they get dirty all the time and need cavities and stuff. So
Need
glad he just popped
cavities.
those
Interesting.
up. Well, they get fillings. Fillings.
I need cavities.
Well, I've got a
Need,
floss
must have.
recommendation for you.
Don't do that to me.
I'm doing it.
Please don't.
You don't have to follow it. I'm giving you the advice. Cocoa Floss is a really great floss brand.
Is that
And
with in cereals?
She's cuckoo for it, yeah.
spelled? I am cuckoo for it, but it's not.
Cocoa floss.
It's not cacao.
Well, that's my safe word.
Like cocoa. No, oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Logging it. No, it's from coconuts. It's like the coconut
So it's
fiber.
plant-based.
It's plant-based.
Okay.
Oh,
Big fan of that. Yeah.
plant-based. And coconut is naturally antimicrobial.
Oh, but I'm pro microbial.
Darn.
I know. I'm just a curmudgeon.
Well,
and-
maybe you could like run it over your toilet or something first, and then
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah.
hadn't thought about that. But
Yeah, you can only be anti so many microbes before they overwhelm you.
That's
So I
true.
think it's probably
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah. We'll see what the limit is.
This brings up an interesting question for me.
Non-spawn, but would spawn.
Are there macrobes?
There should be.
Are we the macrobes?
I think I have one hanging up on in my
I think
closet.
we're the macrobes. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there's Wizrobes in the Zelda series.
There
but,
sure are.
Macrobes, I don't know.
Wizrobes are tough.
And are those just the
tough
robes
enemies.
that the wizards wear?
They are annoying. They can move diagonally.
They can move diagonally.
They're
They
the
can teleport
buttheads.
I
themselves
didn't
around
think
the
anybody
room,
could do
Yeah.
and they
Yes.
shoot you with their little magic
just like the
wand.
corners in Clue.
Yes. you
Just
have
like
no
the
idea where they're
corners in
coming from.
Clue.
The one game I ever have played in
If
my
you want to
life.
get from
You're
the
always safe in
conservatory
the
to the
corners.
library without using the hallway, guess what?
Girl, there's a
We've
secret
got a
door.
corner for that.
Bring the candlestick. You'll be fine.
And the wrench, just in case. We have a shared MouthGarf report topic. We went to see Legend of Zelda, or I guess all Zelda music.
We did. I was wondering when we were going to bring that up
Now.
because just
Take it
another.
away.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, it's just another amazing thing about this series that started with the original Zelda. There's a musician from, where do you say he was from? Fresno or something?
Yeah, somewhere.
Somewhere, California,
Not far,
but like
yeah.
not close-ish, but yeah. So he's on some tour and he rented out the St. Mark's Cathedral in San Francisco and performed on the piano every song from Zelda.
That's amazing.
It was so delightful.
Theme songs, dungeon songs, and he gave the background explanations for all of them.
Yeah.
And just it was packed. Like it was. I don't remember the last time I felt good in a church, and that was it. And it was because of Zelda and the music and how it brought people together. And the adult nerds like us who have little humans brought them, and they loved it all too. And we're meeting the musician afterwards and telling them all their stories about how they got introduced to the game. And
That's so cool.
it just, it's a beautiful connection. And the music alone is worth
So
celebrating,
good.
right? And then we
Yeah.
talk about everything else the game provides. But yeah.
And like I hadn't played the games. I don't know anything. Like I recognize some of the songs, right? Because I live in the world. But it was I had way more fun than I thought I was going to have because of how excited everyone in the audience was. Like I was sitting between Drew and our mutual friend Matt, and just hearing both of you like
when our jams came
gasp
on
or like squeal or giggle, I was like, they're loving it. And then he announced that he was going to do one song, and there was a girl in the back who goes, oh my God. like, so excited. Like she was a teenager seeing the
Fanning out.
Beatles.
Yeah.
It was so delightful, and like a very polite audience. Everybody was very well behaved and just like really vibing. It was
quite an experience.
It was very nice. Yeah. I wish I remembered his name.
So it wasn't Lydia Tarr from the movie Tar?
No, it was a no.
You
Sorry.
familiar? Have either of you seen Tar?
I have not seen.
Okay,
it.
listener, spoilers for Tar, but
No spoilers.
No, it's because this.
I took my
it's the
headphone
only
off,
way
so I
that this
can't hear.
ties in.
I'm just waiting until Nate stops
At a certain
talking
point
so
in
I
the
can put my
film,
headphones
Lydia
back on.
Tarr is conducting a World of Warcraft symphonic music presentation.
Oh yeah, this was just
Yeah,
one
this is just one guy
guy
on the piano.
on piano. Yeah.
Well, we say just one guy. I mean, he filled the room with
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
epicness.
he could have spoken a little louder. I feel like I was really
He
straining
definitely
to hear him,
could have,
but
yeah.
but the music was wonderful.
Yeah. It was so cute how nervous he was. You could tell. Like he wasn't sure how it was going to be reacted to.
Yeah, he got more comfortable though after the first
The
couple.
hooting and
he was
hollering
like,
and
yeah,
the cheer. Yeah, he was like, oh, these guys
Yeah,
love it.
people are
Obviously,
actually into
we love
this. They're not just
Obviously, we
here
love it.
because
Yes.
they're bored.
Yes.
right. Yeah, you're not getting a lot of like foot traffic into this. This is people bought
Pre-planned.
tickets.
And this is one of the things that like Nintendo excelled so much at was making sure that the music was really good, right? All game systems prior to the Nintendo Entertainment System were just like beeps and boops, right? You wouldn't even get music. Like Pac-Man doesn't have music. Pac-Man just has the sound of consuming the pellets and then a different sound when you consume the super pellet. And that's it. But there's no background music. Nintendo starts adding this music in so you feel like you're part of this ongoing experience, and it makes it more cinematic, right? It makes it immersive. And Zelda has really good orchestration. Like it's catchy.
Yeah.
And
good.
it feels heroic. It feels epic.
It was also really interesting. There were a couple times where before a set he would be like, I picked these different songs from different games because they like share this common music
share a theme.
structure. Yeah, like I don't know.
That's
it was
on
really,
purpose.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That doesn't happen by accident. But it was like, I don't know. It was really interesting to. He very clearly loves not just Zelda, but knows a lot about music, and so it was interesting to see it presented from that aspect.
So
Yeah,
cool.
and just the thoughtfulness and care the original development team put in to the music, the artwork. Keep in mind, all of this is 8-bit.
Yeah.
And God knows how much memory this thing
Yeah.
had, right? Like less than your calculator in
Yeah.
middle school, probably, right? So like, how did they do that?
How'd they do that?
It's incredible.
They
You
did.
can only move in two directions.
They did.
And there are only 10 numbers that they use for the random number generator.
5 colors.
Yeah.
I've got another
Hit
MouthGarf
it.
update for you. So, listeners, finally, I am in San Francisco. That was true last week as well, but I'm more now because my stuff is too.
Hey.
And my apartment is very cute, but you may recall that I can't remember if I told this story, that when I first got the keys, I went up to the roof, and the whole time up to the roof, I was like, these stairs are soft. These stairs are very soft.
It's a San Francisco experience.
Squishy stairs.
Squishy stairs. Just a lot of adjectives
Questionably up to code stairs.
that I
Yeah.
don't want to be using for stairs.
Yeah.
And from my kitchen, I can see the stairs. I have a window to the back stairs, and those are the stairs you take to take the trash out. And I haven't taken the trash out in 2 weeks because I saw my neighbor going down the stairs, and a whole tread fell out from beneath him.
Whoa.
A whole step just fell out from beneath him.
Sounds like a side quest.
Yeah, it's
Do you have
dangerous
to
to
rescue
go
this
alone.
friend? Yes. Do you?
And I haven't gotten my sword yet. So
I don't know the spell outside.
they've been replacing the stairs over these last, week and a half or so. And that's really unfortunate because every day there are construction workers outside my kitchen, and I'm not trying to wear pants in my own apartment.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
I'm like, hey, girl, I did have the brief, fleeting momentary thought, though. Drew, you're unfamiliar with my saga of the Oven Man, but listeners and Nate,
We know the Oven
know
Man.
that you know the Oven Man lives on Drury Lane.
Do you know? Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. I assumed.
A man who came to fix my oven was very cute, and we went on a couple dates, but he was married, is the
Aha.
short of it. But
To the oven.
unfortunately, no, we could have made that work.
Okay. Okay. I was like,
If he
are
was
we,
just an oven
are we
sexual,
judging this
totally
now?
not a
or-
problem.
Yeah.
A human woman. But one of the men working on the stairs was really cute, and I was like, should I go outside and have the stair man?
Yeah. I
He's
just
already seen me pants.
I forgot to put pants on. Yeah. That's how you do it.
No, I didn't though.
All the best movies start that way. You should just, see what happens.
He fixes the cable.
Oh, my neighbor is for sure going to see me naked because I also have a window in the shower to those stairs.
Yeah, every neighbor has an open naked policy.
I am just gonna,
It's common.
I mean, whatever. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna throw up like a hang loose.
Yeah. That's what you're doing.
Oh, just like a if
Hey,
you like
what's
what you
up?
see, call.
Put my number in the steam on the window.
Yeah, there you go.
Like if you need some healing activity,
Yeah, we can
come
close
on
those
in.
doors, baby boy.
You're both magic and
You're right up to
health
full
points.
health.
Yeah, we'll keep us posted on the Stairman.
Yep, we'll do. Hopefully, I won't ever see him again because I think they finished the stairs.
Well, I mean, that's good that they finished them so quickly too. That is
and
extremely
I
dangerous.
can take the trash out.
Extremely
Finally.
dangerous.
So
Yeah,
dangerous. Literally, the first time I took the trash out, there was just one of the stairs had a hole in it. I was like, okay.
Just one hole though. You step
Yes,
over it.
however, I failed to mention that this is a spiral staircase.
Of course.
So each stair is only
Yeah.
like half a stair. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So when there's
Precarious.
a hole in it, you're like, well, that's most of the stair.
And this is a metal.
At some
this
point,
is
it's just
metal
a pole to
spiral
slide down.
staircase?
No, girl, it's
Wood.
wood. That's why it's so soft and soggy.
Everything's
Yeah.
Roddy.
Yeah, that's
wooden out here.
just not gonna work.
Yeah.
it's not gonna work.
It's just not going to work. So I think they've replaced many of the stairs. I believe the whole stairwell, but I'm too scared to go outside and check.
Hey, as long as your pants aren't on, you should be
Yeah.
fine.
Oh God, can you imagine how humiliating that would be with my already foot injury? I go out to take the trash out, pantsless. They find me dead and broken at the bottom of the stairs.
I could only be so lucky.
Yeah, sounds like a good insurance plan.
If I can't be the hero of Hyrule,
Right, yeah,
that's a good way to go.
No, I'm gonna go out by choice.
I'm trying to map though, like what. So the MouthGarf, for the longtime listener, first time caller. Actually, I've never listened to this, so catch me up. Like,
Yeah.
How does the stair trash thing? Is that the mouth or the garf?
Mouth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because stairs look like teeth. Stairs are the teeth.
I would argue that the Oven Man was at a certain point a potential kissing partner,
Yeah.
which involves the mouth,
Got
and
it.
therefore all of
Okay.
this is spun
Yeah.
off of that.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay, that
Yep.
perfect sense. It was a judgment-free question, just curiosity.
No, I
and
appreciate.
makes
you
perfect
asking.
sense.
Also, we
Yeah.
kind of just talk about whatever in this segment now, because
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
just note that my X-Files rewatch continues. I recently
Hell yeah.
watched the episode Quagmire, where they go looking for a Loch Ness monster surrogate, but it turns out that there's just
Yes.
like a crocodile in this lake that keeps eating people.
Just foggy.
Was there
and they're all
something-
hammered all the time, so
they just don't notice. But after Mulder kills the crocodile,
This is the one where Mulder comments on Scully's
This
weight.
yes, this is true. There's a lot of problems in the X-Files in the 90s. Lots of things keep
Yeah.
coming up. And that episode ends with, oh, hey, actually there is a Loch Ness monster. Right before the credits pop up, right before the Created by Chris Carter pops up, there's like a quick little Loch Ness monster. So that was fun. And then also I was watching the episode, I can't remember the title now, but they are doing experiments using sound to basically make people go crazy. So one guy
Havana syndrome.
Yeah.
like the beeps when you're low
the
on health.
beeps.
Yeah.
Because in this
Yeah.
episode, Scully goes full the conversation where she's just like checking her entire apartment for bugs. She thinks she's seen Mulder with the cigarette smoking man.
Yeah.
And it's really well done. It was so tense. Such a good way to play them off of each other. And you give Gillian Anderson like the opportunity to be different. Like she doesn't have to play the straight man in this situation.
She just gets a couple episodes like that. Man, I gotta join you in a rewatch. It's been a minute.
I'd be down for that.
You want to watch the X-Files with
Yeah,
me?
I haven't seen those since I was a kid too.
Let's do
There's a lot
it.
of stuff,
Let's do
should we
it.
go full nostalgia? I'll fire up the Zelda and put on some X-Files.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's probably going to be my night.
No.
That's like in the cards. For
Sounds
me.
good to me.
So
Yeah.
yeah. And that was the MouthGarf report.
MouthGarf.
MouthGarf report.
So
for us, see
now
what you did there.
Now it's time to play a game.
Okay, let me pour another drink.
Kelly's going to get another drink. So yeah, it's time to play I See What You Did There. Woo! And all of these are going to be Zelda or Nintendo related.
Yes.
Drew, I'm gonna be leaning on you.
I have a chance.
Well, it's co-op. We're playing
Yeah,
together.
yeah, you're going to play
okay.
together. So number one. This is a ballistic device used to launch a projectile a great distance without the aid of gunpowder or other propellants, particularly known as a medieval siege engine. And Zelda Rubinstein played Tangina Barons, who declares, "This house is clean," in this 1982 horror film.
Okay.
Trebuchet or catapult for the first part?
Catapultergeist.
Catapultergeist. You see what I did there?
Let's go.
Boom.
It's happening.
Before and after.
It's happening.
I see what you did there.
I see what you did
Okay,
there.
makes sense. I get
I'm
it.
glad that you had catapult because all I had was trebuchet, and I was
All
like,
right. It
well,
was one or the other. I was like, yeah.
I knew that when you got Poltergeist, this would come together.
yeah,
Catapultergeist.
yeah, we did
Wow.
it. We did it.
That's clever.
All
Okay.
right. They're going to
Don't
get more
encourage
clever. Get
him.
ready.
I see what we're up against.
Don't encourage him.
Yeah. Encourage me. I'll make them worse. Number 2, Zelda Fitzgerald's husband, F. Scott, famously wrote this book about one man's quest to reinvent himself as a hero and get the girl. And these are a line of plastic pellet stuffed toys created by American businessman Ty Warner in 1986.
Is that
Great
Beanie
Gatsby?
Babies?
Oh, is that it? Great Gatsby Babies?
You see what I did there?
That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking. It's got to be Gatsby, right?
got it.
Okay.
Yay!
Oh, we got it.
The
Let's
Great
go. What's up?
Beanie Babies.
I was like, that's way too much of a slant, but okay, I see what we're working with.
Sometimes
I
he
see
will
what he did
connect
there.
on a
see what I
silent
did
letter
there?
at the end of a word. So
Yeah, sometimes
Great
the pronunciation of the word
Gatsby
with the next
Babies.
word will not match.
what's the one that made me upset last week? Something elephant.
Oh,
Billy Joel.
yeah, Billy Joelphant was the...
That one's pushing it, but I'm gonna allow it.
Thank you.
Don't
Thank
encourage
you.
him.
Allowing it.
Okay, number three, Zelda Spellman is one of 2 magical aunts of the titular character in this well-known comic and television property that also happens to feature a cat named Salem.
It's Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
And in baseball slang, this means a pitch that is thrown near the batter's face to back him off the plate, frighten, and intimidate him. And it's also alternatively used as a euphemism for punching someone in the jaw.
Oh, there's a phrase for that. Chin music or high heat.
Probably Witch in Sabrina the Teenage Witch in.
Yeah,
The
keep
witchin'
going.
music. Witchin'
I
music.
don't know what to
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
I don't know where
It's
else to go.
Sabrina the Teenage Witchin' music.
Witchin'
Yeah.
music.
Witchin' music.
There we
You
go.
had it.
Chin
Okay.
music.
You see
All
what I
right,
did
we got
there?
it.
Chad, I thought you were making that up.
Hey, when it comes to baseball, no.
Never. You're a
no.
baseball guy.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
give him a little bit of that chin music. Yeah, you
Chin
throw
music.
at the guy's face a
Okay.
little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or if you want to threaten somebody
why-
in a very 1920s kind of way, I'm gonna give you a little chin.
No, you got to go wrist
Yeah.
first. You got to go
Pugilist
fist
Why
style.
I
bumps.
oughta. Why I oughta. Put him up.
All right, number four. Ralph Wiggum mistakenly refers to the school superintendent as Super Nintendo Chalmers on this long-running animated comedy. And this is a subsidiary of General Motors that provides subscription-based communications, in-vehicle security, emergency services, turn-by-turn navigation, and remote diagnostic systems.
Simpson Star.
You see what I did there? The Simpson stuff.
Oh, I was like, how do I? First of all, I was like, man, you gave away the Super Nintendo Chalmers thing real quick, but I see it was just for The Simpsons. I was
You see
like,
what he did
okay.
there? What'd you
see
I've
what I
been
did there?
seeing a lot of like. It's not just a clever name.
No, it's actually there.
No,
You can see it.
You say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like this could be a new bit on Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me. I don't know if you all listen to that
Oh,
one,
yeah,
the
yeah.
NPR
Don't
news.
advertise
radio.
other shows on our show. Stop that.
I'm saying you guys should have a bit on it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Not trying to advert. I'm saying if they're listening,
Yeah,
hey,
which they are. They're big listeners.
you know, hit up.
I mean,
Nate
look,
Kelly.
we live in an era where NPR is
The
under
buddies.
attack more
up
than
the
ever.
buddies.
And if we can help
We can turn it around.
by providing, I see what you did there,
That's what I'm saying.
to Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me, I'm in.
That's what I'm saying.
Nate, you really should pitch.
It's a great pitch.
I could. What? I should just become the
You're
Will
really
Shorts
good
of
at
this, and that's all I do with
These are
all
good.
my
Or
life is right.
I would just pay you for once a week to keep doing this. Like I love this. This is
Well,
great.
come join me every Monday.
It's happening.
You
It's
can
always
be my
happening. It happens so much she hates it.
I don't
No, I
hate
know.
it.
You don't hate it.
anymore.
You just it's like
I'm Stockholm syndrome
it's like
into
eating
it.
whatever the thing is that you don't like to eat the most, but you know is kind of good for you.
Yeah.
Except this isn't at all good for anyone.
I think it's probably
I'm
good for
having
me.
a great time.
It's good for me to be humbled. It's good for me to be wrong sometimes.
Great. I'm glad that this is like
happened?
a therapeutic experience. It's just grounding you a little bit. Like, oh shit.
I was never gonna get Simpson Star. Never was I gonna get that.
I got it.
Okay. Last one, number 5. Number 5.
Ooh, last one. Okay, is this the hardest one?
It probably
Like,
is,
is it
yeah.
a bonus round?
It's
Like,
usually
is this like all or nothing? Like, what are we? What's the stakes?
We just have a good
your
time.
pride.
We're having a good time together.
your
Okay.
dignity.
The stakes are I don't have to edit out a lot
Could
of
not be
silence
higher.
because you're getting them quickly.
Yes.
He's edited out the silence, guys. Don't listen to him. I took out my
Oh,
encyclopedias for the.
Yeah. There's just a lot of
in the
phone a
Super
friending
Mario
going on.
Bros. In the Super Mario Bros. Film episode,
Finger monkey?
That's probably the roughest finger
Finger
monkey.
monkey.
That's the roughest. I see what you did
That was
there.
pretty tough. Yeah.
It was
That was
real
early
tough.
on too, where I wasn't doing this with the audience in mind. I was just like, oh, I can free associate anything that I kind of know about and throw in stuff that I don't know about. And why would that be bad? And it turns out it's because no one knows what I'm talking about.
Chelsea and I just didn't know. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Number
we go.
5.
If you give the protagonist of The Legend of Zelda too much caffeine, you can describe him like this common clickable digital text or object that directly connects you to a website or data. And these
Stupid.
and these are an American construction toy for children consisting of square-notched, miniature, lightweight wooden beams used to build small
Hyperlincoln
forts.
logs.
Yes. You see what I did there? Hyperlincoln
Yeah, I was
logs.
like, wait, wooden is Lincoln Logs. I was like, wait, connects
Yeah.
maybe? But what was that first one?
Hyperlink.
I was like jittery.
Yeah, you give it too much
Like,
caffeine.
Okay, hyperlink.
Hyperlincoln logs.
The fun
Hyperlincoln
tidbit about Lincoln Logs I didn't get to because you got it so quickly is they were invented
Sorry.
in 1916 by John Lloyd Wright, who is the second son of Frank Lloyd Wright, the architect.
Oh.
I've heard of
That's
something
kind of
similar.
wild,
but I
right?
forgot
Do you imagine
about it.
like, oh,
I'll believe
It's in
that
his
one
bones.
too.
Yeah.
It's in his DNA.
Dad's out here changing the way we fundamentally operate in interior spaces. I've got a really cool idea. What if you stacked
Yeah.
wood? And that's not to denigrate it. I had Lincoln
Let's go
Logs as a
back.
kid. They were great.
Back
I had 'em
to
too.
basics. Back to old
But wait, what do we get
traditional
for getting 5 out of
standards.
5? Like, is there?
bragging
Yeah.
rights.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. How often does that happen? Am I?
We
Well,
always get there.
it
It's just whether I
happens-
offer hints or not. And we didn't offer any hints this time.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
hints.
No hints.
Hint
Yeah.
free.
Hint free.
5 for 5. That's Hall of Fame numbers
really
right there.
is.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
right. You're
All right.
right.
All right.
Boy, I wonder.
Happy to be just a little piece of this. Thank you for including me.
no,
Thank
thank
you.
you for helping me.
I wish I
Chin
would
music
love
was
if
a
one
good
of the
one.
listeners wants to sort of write down how each of
Run
these have
the
gone
numbers.
and do some numbers for
Yeah.
us. That'd be great.
Oh, get us the stats.
yeah.
I would
Email
love
us
some
debutbuddies@gmail.com.
Because seriously, we did not like edit out any time. Like we got.
Yeah,
those.
we got there
We were
fast.
on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be tough to beat that. I think
Mm-hmm.
possible.
I would
There's
even maybe
room
call
for
it a
sure.
speed run.
Oh my god.
Your words.
You did a speed run.
And now it's time to talk Debs.
How many devs? How many devs? How many devs? How many devs?
Talking Debs. I forgot to fill you
Eugene
in on this.
V.
No, Debs.
Oh, I thought this was the socialist hour now, but
I mean, it's always the
I
socialist
did.
hour.
yeah.
We do usually jam in our hate for capitalism here at the end.
I've been warned.
Usually in the outro.
And I'm not here to defend, but you know. Yeah.
No, Debs is our rating scale.
Okay.
It's a 1 out of 5. You can think of them as stars, but they're Debs.
They're
Debs.
Yeah, debut buddies.
They're also based on the
And 5 is
the
the best?
important
5 is
film
the best.
Debs, D period, E period,
Yes.
D period, S period, about a
Which
group
you
of
would love
young women who are
because you have
assassins.
good taste.
And it's a
Yes.
beautifully sort of low budget UPN style movie that has some of the most tender depictions of like homosexual relationships and just being badass women. It's great. It's a good movie.
Hell yeah.
And good
And good
friendship
friendship.
themes.
Big
It's a
fan
great
of
film.
friendship.
It's a great
Jimmy
film.
Simpson.
It's tied for first fave movie with Mamma Mia and Dead and Breakfast.
That says a lot.
Yeah, it's
understand.
That's a
really,
Triforce.
really good.
It's Kelly's Triforce.
That's a
of
Triforce.
film.
Ooh, which one is what are they? It's power and wisdom
Courage.
and courage. So
I mean,
said
Dead
that
and Breakfast has to be
courage.
courage because you have to be
that's courage
It's
for
scary.
sure. Yeah. And then Mamma Mia is wisdom and Debs is power.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. You got your Triforce.
perfect.
So what do we give Debs for?
The forgot what we talked
We
about.
can we
Legend
can
of
do
Zelda.
either the game or what you feel about the episode. So it's like you can be like, oh, the game gets 4 Debs, but this episode in our conversation gets 5, or whatever you want. We kind of it's
You can
So
also
like my
encompass
guest
more.
appearance gets 5 Debs.
Absolutely.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
for sure. Yes.
In spite of the fact that like that would be an example, right?
And
Not
it's,
saying that's the one I'm going with. I'm just making sure
No, yeah,
that is an
you're
example, and it's what I'm
fully
going
on.
with.
that I could say
you're
that.
fully on.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, give me a minute and let me hear what.
Yeah,
you
we
all
can go
have.
first.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to rank the game because I've never played
But
it.
you did watch
So,
it, sort
Nate,
of. You
would
watched. It was on while you were doing other things.
Yeah. Well, and I thought that
You've seen the Masters at work.
and one of them was very handsome. So
Lack Attack 24. If anyone's interested, check him out. I'm a huge fan.
he's got a big nose, and I like that in a man.
Really nice. Those thick black glasses like the NASA engineers used to wear in the 60s.
yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Great
yeah,
look.
he's got a great vibe.
Great look.
Handsome
Yeah.
fella. I'm just so compelled by the speed running community and by these like weird hacks that they have found that I feel I will go down a rabbit hole even after this episode, and that has to mean 5 Debs, right? Like usually I forget everything we
You
talk
also
about.
do not like video
minute we
games
stop
at
recording.
all, and this is the only
No, but
doorway to this.
Well, you
world.
picked this topic.
Well, I picked it. Nate picked this topic, and then
Okay,
I
Nate.
just selected it.
You
from
told
our
me that we were
list.
going to do it. I was like, okay, let's go. You hate video games.
It's not that I hate video games. I hate playing video games.
Ah, okay,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah,
But the appreciation of the
they're fine. I've like
storytelling,
watched a lot of video games, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Like I just don't. I don't like to play.
Sure.
Yeah,
I
never
understand.
Learned. I never learned how.
Yeah.
Even when Nate was describing mechanics earlier, I found myself just TV static, just hearing TV static.
Yeah.
And that's not Nate. That's not Nate's
it's-
fault. That's anytime somebody tries to describe gameplay to me, I just like disappear. I don't know where I go.
We did an episode on the first video game ever, and we also have tried to figure out a gateway game. Like Chelsea and I have tried to figure out a gateway game for Kelly, and literally nothing appeals to her from this. So the fact
just-
that this angle, that you can find this
Yeah.
angle on this to be like, there might be something here that I'm kind of interested in. That's a huge
Yeah.
one. That I would give it 5 for that too.
Oh, great. Good.
Something for everybody in this.
When we covered the
human
first video
creation.
game, I read the source code instead of playing it.
That's pretty hot.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Instead of playing
That's
it,
correct.
I decided to take it apart and look at its organs.
And I fucking hate software.
Yeah, but that's what this community does. They go that deep. They're
I guess so.
They're like, where is this pointer in the memory and how can I exploit that?
I didn't do it
It's-
out of, I wasn't trying to exploit anything though.
know,
I was
but-
just like, I don't want to play anymore.
You're just trying to get away from it.
I couldn't figure out how to shoot the little guy.
Yeah, that
With
first
the
video
little
game was
guy.
not easy to play either. Like way harder to play than this. Than Legend
Wow,
of
it
Zelda.
was harder than Zelda?
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
because that was
Okay.
so like the floatiness, the gravitation, the trying to shoot and keep your bearings. Like at least Zelda has
I
like
couldn't do it.
a certain fixed amount of things you can do, and you can get used to them. They're
Yeah.
limited, but you can get used to them. That felt like driving a really heavy car from the 60s that just like the back end swims out behind you no matter what you do, and you're constantly compensating, like you're constantly fighting against it. Zelda, you don't feel like you're fighting against, it's just really hard.
Got it. Okay.
Well, it's just a lot all
It
at
is,
once.
yeah.
Right? You're flung into the world.
You're getting
Okay,
swarmed
okay,
with things.
yeah.
But yeah, I would give this 5 because I would give Legend of Zelda 5. I think, one, it's like revolutionary as a game. Two,
Amen.
the history of it is so charming, as a lot of these Nintendo games are, where it's like, I was walking in the forest when I was a kid, and I thought it would be fun to let other people do that in a game.
Everyone should
Awesome,
have
right?
that. That's so wholesome.
Isn't it?
So wholesome.
So it's
Your
beautiful.
anecdote about the music is huge, where it's just like, yeah, this has such a lasting cultural impact that how can you deny it? Like it is a meaningful thing.
Yeah, it's clearly impactful.
And that's great. And we had a great time. So yeah, it's 5. It's just a 5 debs. It's a 5 debs app.
How you
Yeah,
feeling?
I think it's one deb for the haters and people who don't listen to this because they're missing out.
Yeah.
It's a 5 deb podcast and video game.
Hell yeah.
And I think that's really it. Like, we've already said that, and it's correct.
I love when we all vote the same number because it makes the average so easy.
We don't have to do any thinking now.
Oh, wait, times 3 divided by
Carry
5.
the-
Is that 40 years old you are now? Or what is that?
Carry
70, I'm
the
sorry.
3. Great. 5 debs all around. What a wonderful app. Drew, thank you for being on. This was so much fun.
This was super fun.
Thank you both for having me. It's been a pleasure and my honor to join you.
I hope that you'll come back another time. We'll have to find something suitable, but it would be great to have you on another time. I like we got a good vibe going.
You know how to find me. Yeah,
Yep.
I'll be here.
Excellent. Excellent. We will be there too, by which I mean Kelly. And
I will knock on your door until you
Yeah,
let me
there you
in. I was going to say I will break in, and then I was like, I would never.
You just fall through the trap on the back staircase.
Oh
and,
God, how
yeah,
are your
I'll be
stairs?
here.
Oh no.
Drew, do you have anything that you'd like to plug? Anything you want people to know about that you're passionate about?
Oh my gosh. On the spot.
Plug your favorite speedrunner.
Lack Attack 24
Lack
for
Attack
sure
24.
for Zelda. If anyone's interested in Mario speedrunning, Mitch Flower Power has been rerunning Super Mario 3 Warpless.
Oh, hell yeah.
And he's under 50 minutes now. And I forget if he has current competition or whatnot, but they're really pushing it. They got this new trick called Early Hammer in World 2. They can manipulate part of the manipulation of the random numbers.
Okay.
They get those Hammer brothers to move exactly where they want them to bust through some rock that needs the hammer that like accelerates them through World 2. So they can beat all of Mario 3 warpless in under 50 minutes. It's crazy. Mitch Flower Power. Plugging
Mitch Flower
him.
Power. Okay.
And then Arcus is another one of my favorite speedrunners. He's like a cowboy with an awesome mustache who's just really chill.
I'm on board.
He does gardening.
I'm in my mustache.
And speedrunning. So shout out
Gardening and
Shout out to
speedrunning.
Arcus. Yes.
Cute.
He does Mega Man quite well.
I'll learn
He
who
does
that
Zelda
is.
quite a bit as well. Check those guys out. I'll plug them instead of stuff.
I love it. That's great. Because these are also good plugs for me, because I will go check these things out. I always like these. Like,
Please do.
I really do like watching, like, even just playthrough series on games. Because sometimes I'll do it on games that I want to play, so that I get like, is this for me?
So,
Ooh,
okay.
smart. Oh, that's the
Playthroughs?
GameStop alternative now. I guess is
we're
playthroughs.
democratizing these things some.
Oh my
go
God.
on.
So you could check out, there's a channel called You Can Beat Video Games with the letter U. And this guy does full walkthroughs of amazing original Nintendo and others.
Love it.
And then there's the guys that go back to like show the history of the speedruns and how they've changed over time. Summoning Salt. He himself runs Mike Tyson's Punch Out. He's beaten Tyson in under 2 minutes. Crazy.
Wow.
And then Bismuth is the other guy. I think I sent Kelly one of his overviews of the progression for Zelda. So Summoning Salt and Bismuth for
Okay.
record progressions. These guys are brilliant creators. They describe everything in the community very well. Check
Is this
them
the
out.
one that I was like, oh, the semantics of this video is really
Yes.
useful for me? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. It broke it down in
They're
a way that
masterminds.
even I could understand it, having never played this game or any game. So very
That's
useful.
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Thank you, Drew. That was great.
Appreciate the chance to plug those guys.
Absolutely.
Check them out if you're interested.
And if they appreciate us, they can email us, debutbuddies@gmail.com, and they can come on the show, because I think that'd be fun to talk to Speedrunner.
That'd be
Right?
so super fun.
I would love that.
Yeah.
I would fanboy the hell out of that episode. I'll tell
We'll
you
see if
what.
we can put something together. Like, we did get the first ever podcaster
If
on.
I'd fly him out here if you guys
Yeah.
want, meet him in person or something.
We got the first ever podcaster
Yeah.
on the show, so maybe we can do this. Who's the first ever speedrunner?
That's a good question.
We'll figure it
Do
out.
some digging.
We'll find
If you
out.
know, email us.
Yeah.
Listeners, if you like this podcast,
Debutbuddies@gmail.com.
please subscribe, rate, and review us. Give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. You can write anything you want in the review. Talk to us about speedrunning, or maybe your connection to Legend of Zelda, or Zelda Fitzgerald,
Yeah.
or Zelda Rubinstein. Just give us any Zelda information you got, but give us 5 stars. If you like the music, it's all Michael J. O'Connor, and you can check out Michael J. O'Connor and the Cold Family by going to michaeljoconnor.bandcamp.com. Type it all out. It's worth it.
Good job.
It's worth it.
Good job.
You can.
Sorry, he changed his URL
Yeah.
recently, and this is the first time we've
It's true.
remembered it. And by we, I mean
I've been practicing remembering this for like 5 days.
You did a really good
I was like,
job.
I don't
J.
want
O'Connor.
to lose it. Also, Michael J. O'Connor and his former band from when he was in San Francisco reunited for it's like an hour-long YouTube concert. I will put that link in the show notes. It is awesome because it's like they never lost a step, and it's a cute like
I love
living
that.
room. They're sitting in the living room. It's all acoustic. It's really cool. So check all that stuff out.
And listeners, you might remember him from a few episodes ago when we
David
covered
Lynch.
Eraserhead.
Yeah. And if you want to read some books, I'm still publishing science fiction and other speculative literature at readspaceboy.com. You can find out what we're doing. And now we got to talk about our next episode, because
Rowdy Piper.
it's time to figure out what's the first Roddy Piper leading role in a film. And it turns out it's a little movie about a guy named Sam Hell, a world that needs some sperm, and a little
Yep.
town called Frogtown. We're going to be talking about Hell Comes to Frogtown on our next episode.
And listeners, if you're thinking that sounds problematic, let me assure you,
It
It
is
is.
extremely, yes. I have already seen this movie, and it is
Same.
problematic in
Yep, it's
almost every
troubling.
possible way. So we're going to have a lot of fun
Yeah.
talking about it.
I can't wait.
The whole thing is just trigger warnings.
It's just a trigger. That's the whole movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
premise is that we're in a post-apocalypse. We need to repopulate the Earth. People are fighting over Roddy Piper's ability to inseminate women. that's
Yeah. There's a chastity belt
that's
involved.
the high level. That's the highest level. It's gonna be great.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about wieners with you, Nate.
I was gonna say, find out what's under that
Right?
kilt.
We're all out of bubble gum. And listeners, if you're all out of bubble gum, remember, you can take this because it's dangerous to go alone. It's a sword and also friendship. Yo-ha!
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 Bye, buddies.
First is best, or first is worst.